Hello, everyone, and welcome to Alignment Shift. And tonight, we're going to be playing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm your host, the Dungeon Master, Cal Young. Joining me tonight, we have Peggy.
Hi.
George.
Hello.
Steven.
Hello.
Mackenzie.
Hello.
Kayla.
Hi.
And Ajax.
I am here.
All right, so we got a myriad of technical issues, not to be confused with the myriad of crime syndicates from the other continent. But
Wildmount?
Wildmount, yes.
Currently undermining Whitestone.
Oh,
They
not anymore.
were. They're not
They were.
anymore.
But we've had a myriad of technical difficulties, as you can see. No one can see me. My screen is black. I just bought a new webcam, so that's a good $25 well spent right there. So, either way, tonight we begin our Dungeons and Dragons session, as so many do, with a slight recap of the last episode. Last episode, the party got their preparations in store for leaving Whitestone for the first time in, well, in the real world, several months, but in game, about 2.5 weeks of being in the city. They got the provisions together. Got horses purchased, said their goodbyes to a few family members, and went to bed that evening. And so, our game begins the session with morning coming to Whitestone as the smell of burned wood overpowers an otherwise well-cooked breakfast prepared for the party as you get an early start to your day. And what would you like to do this morning?
Oh, I thought Whitestone was burning down.
Again.
Like, gee, come on. Can't even get a break.
George would not be any happier.
Well, I mean, I wasn't gonna
So
say
is
it.
everyone like in the dining hall?
Yeah, for expediency's sake, you all come down for
Gathered.
breakfast early and get ready for... Unless someone comes out and says, no, I don't want breakfast.
No, I'm gonna stay in my room.
Breakfast for noobs.
Doris
Is
always
everyone in the dining hall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Breakfast is for noobs.
Everyone is in the dining hall. This morning even, you see your brother Julius and Oliver are at the breakfast table, along with Lord Richard Schlong Johnson de Wangfalis and Germinder.
Are we all at the same table, or is it like separate tables?
What announcement would you like to make?
It's very long. It's a very long table, and they're down at one end, and the rest of the party's at the other end of this very long table.
Got that right.
Okay.
We know exactly the announcement she wants to make.
Here it goes.
That's what it's been on, folks.
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
I'm not ready for this because I know it's gonna be such a battle with all of you.
All right, let's go, guys.
You have the horses ready?
Horses
Yep,
are
horses
ready.
are ready.
Guys, can we take a moment, please? Can I have a moment to speak with you?
Well, we have several moments in the future.
Well, I'm
yes.
still eating, so...
We're here.
time is running out.
Okay. You don't have to be sassy, nor do you have to be assholes.
Is that not what we do?
Would you like some coffee?
You seem groggy.
I've already had some, and it isn't helping.
Yes, you need more.
Have some more.
So, because I can't take my golem with me, I had another idea. This idea delays day because I need to give it charge to someone.
You-
Julius, my brother.
Well,
Enthused by this already.
weren't you told that it would be fixed by now? Can't you just tell it to listen?
No, it
to
will be fixed by the end of today.
You look over and you see Julius at the end of the table, kind of stops eating for a moment, kind of glances around.
Oh.
Actually, it's done, but
You mean
continue.
Oliver? You mean Oliver? Oh, it's done? I thought you... Okay. I
Told you.
misinterpreted then.
So we don't need to wait another day.
No, I guess we don't need to wait a day then. I guess
What
I-
was this? What was this about giving this to Julius now?
Is this Oliver speaking or Julius?
It is Oliver. I'm sorry, I said the wrong name.
Okay.
Too many brothers.
So Paula's dying.
Well, brother,
Take a drink.
because I can't take my golem with me, I thought that it would be best served protecting Whitestone. And so I was going to give it to Julius and the guard to protect Whitestone.
All right. I really do not feel like arguing with you this morning, Elena. I do have faith in you, as usual, and as you seem to think me irresponsible, I shall do the best thing that I can, which is...
I don't think you irresponsible, brother. I just want to make sure that Whitestone is protected if you decide to leave. Because you have grander ideas and thoughts outside of Whitestone.
Well, I
And
can't
you're
disagree
taking
with
the
that.
riflemen, and you're taking the riflemen away from Whitestone.
Very well. Then, if you wish, it was ready for you back in Father's workshop. I toiled through the night to have it ready for you, so I hope you appreciate me.
I do, and it is the way that Father intended it.
As far as I'm aware, I mean, I didn't have any leftover parts, if that's what you're inquiring.
And you didn't add any part,
I most certainly
magical
did
or
not.
otherwise.
Neither magic nor mundane has been tampered with your bot.
Very well. Well, Julius, do you want to accompany me to Father's workshop?
Yes, I'll come right with you.
All right.
He puts down his knife and fork and grabs a couple pieces of bacon, shoves them in his pocket, and starts heading out the door with you.
Does anybody else want to come, or
No, we'll get
Buddy
the.
system.
She has a
I'll go.
buddy. Perfect time to assassinate him.
See, Paula is going.
I'm going.
Wildoris looks around at everybody else left at the table and goes, "Well, that was a bigger production than I need to do."
I'm just glad it was easily solved. I don't care.
I agree.
Plan to leave in an hour. At the
very
latest.
well?
Oh, hey,
We'll meet
Vale.
down by the state. What?
I'd like you, or how useful is the orb for travel seeing?
I don't follow.
I'm asking you to use it to scout.
How far ahead?
What the hell was that?
There's a pigeon.
He's
Don't worry about
saying
it.
that his owl can scout. And so
Oh, it was
can
an
my
owl.
bird.
My bad. Sorry, I'm not very in tune with nature.
Cooed, but
Okay. We're all in the same room aside from Elena and Sapala, apparently.
The first time I've ever heard that owl make a noise. That wasn't getting beaten.
Or
But you
There-
can literally just tell me.
We probably have better options than using the orb. In any case,
I was just saying maybe like 2 or 3 days out to make sure there's not an enemy encampment.
Oh yeah, we do.
well, see, the problem with the spell that ball uses, unless we have prior knowledge of it, it will be useless.
From the way I understood it, if you were familiar with the terrain, then you would be able to see it, and anything that was there that you're not familiar with would be like a blob.
We can discuss it on the way.
It's
It's a once a day thing.
not how that works.
Oh, never mind. That's horribly inconvenient then.
In any case, meet by the stables in an hour.
All right. Did anybody else? I believe last time when yesterday when we tried to go to the Gilmores, did somebody else have business there.
Elena still does.
I can't do the pigeon noise now.
Owl's just an easier noise to make. Be honest.
It really is.
Yeah.
I can't do the pigeon.
Gilmore's Glorious. I was heading down there. Anybody want to join me?
I would offer to join. I actually have something else somewhere else I want to stop. So I will not be joining you today.
Okay.
If you see anything cool, get something for me.
Okay, bye.
Wait,
All right, so-
where are y'all going?
I'm heading off to Gilmore's Glorious Goods.
3 of us are going to the workshop, and Xavier is going to Gilmore's.
I was asking in the earring, but whatever.
I told you.
That's
Oh, okay. Well,
God,
I
I
mean,
get
guess
so
I'll go
sassy.
Xavier so he doesn't
Wait,
get ambushed.
I'm good.
if you can you ask Gilmore if he has the thing that I commissioned from him? He's there.
Sure.
Thank you.
Buddy.
It's okay. I'm good alone.
All right. So everyone begins to go their separate ways. Elena, you and Sapala walk with Julius, yeah, stupid brothers,
And me.
out and
Oh, Vale's going
Damn.
too.
out of the dining hall, around the corner toward the workshop, where you see, in a better state than it had been left, the bookshelf is still knocked askew, but the books have now been piled on the other end of the room and are cataloged, it looks like. Floor, piled on the floor, but have been stacked neatly as opposed to thrown everywhere. The tools are put back, maybe not in the right place, but nonetheless hanging from various hooks upon the wall. And in the corner, you do see the large shield guardian looking just as you'd seen it before, at a lax attention in the corner. A slight hum vibration coming from it as it stands still.
Can I inspect it to see if he's done any trickery to it?
Make an investigation check.
Trickery.
Ooh, I'm good at this.
Tampering.
While this is happening, I look over at Julius to say, "Hello, Julius."
Hello, Sapala.
Mm.
Mm.
Having a good morning.
You rolled something lower than a 27?
No, I
Oh,
didn't roll.
God.
I was laughing at Kayla.
Oh.
It was a 26.
That would be a dirty 20.
30-20.
Yeah.
Checking it from boots to bolts. From what little you had gleaned of it before, you didn't spend too much time learning every nook and cranny of this contraption, and there are several places that look to be, for lack of a better in-universe term, ports, but poking and prodding at them does not yield any. None of them are loose. None of them appear to have been specially opened or tampered with. Nothing's on there that looks like it was added recently.
Okay. And the runes that have my name and state that it's under my control is still
Yeah. So as you pull open the torso and there's the glowing magic sphere that operates the thing, you do still see the runes that have your crest upon them, for lack of a better term.
okay. And it's not changed or tampered with.
But doesn't appear to be. It looks like it was attempted. You can assert you knew that he was trying to. You see residue of what appears to be a similar chalking type device that was used to draw the runes in the first place, and it appears to have molted off. That he had tried to scribble out your name and put in his name, and it didn't take.
Okay. All right. I still have the key, so I put the key in it. And then I say, you are to listen to Julius only, and you are to protect Whitestone.
The key, the shield guardian, you hear the inner workings whir to life. It straightens up from its previous hunched position and now stands much taller in the room. It looks to you, looks over to Xavier, and
Julius.
or Julius. I keep doing that. Xavier's names. It's a long day, guys.
Damn, so many
Uh,
names.
So many names. Okay, I'm looking at a page right now that's got like 15 of them. It straightens its shoulders and brings the shields in front of itself and smashes its knuckles together in an affirmative kind of position. Protective.
I say, brother, give it a command.
Two steps now.
Dance! And the shield guardian is
Dance.
kind of, I couldn't think of something to say. And the guardian, it kind of just begins to bob up and down. Kind of hopping in place just a little bit.
Okay,
It
stop
knows the jig.
dancing.
It stops.
You have control now, brother.
Yes.
Wise.
Right. Meet us at the garrison, guardian. And the machine just immediately turns and walks
You
its
might
way.
want to accompany it so that it doesn't frighten the citizens.
That is an excellent idea, sister. I will. I'll go. I'm going to miss you. I love you. You're an
I miss you,
asshole.
I love you. You're an asshole as well.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, brother.
Oh,
Goodbye,
and
Julius.
Oliver. Hi, Paul. Oliver had a package for you. By the way, you might want to see him before you leave.
Okay, all right. I'll go talk to brother then.
And Sapala,
Yes.
goodbye.
Oh.
She waits
Goodbye.
out.
And he turns and wait up, calling after the robot.
Do you want to go with me to speak to my brother, Paula?
You want me to kick him in the shins?
I mean, you can kick him in the shins if he
Okay,
offends
then yes.
you. We go.
Sorry, you make your way back to the breakfast chamber.
Quickly.
As you come in, everyone is finishing up their breakfast. Julius is not Julius. Oliver. I did it again. I was even looking at the name on my sheet. Oliver. Oliver is currently sitting back in his chair with a cup of coffee as Richard is, and that's when I you wrong accent. I can't talk tonight. I'm going to bed. Good night, guys.
Night.
done.
Night. Stream's over.
Best episode ever.
Pack it
The
up.
cat, the
As
cow.
Richard is sitting there telling a grand story. That is how I used a whole bunch of poison to kill a ton of barbarians in the middle of the desert. Oh, Elena, you're back. I was just telling about how I took care of an entire tribe of slavers in the middle of the Marquesian desert.
By yourself.
Yes, so I stuck into their camp and I pulled out this Greek mushroom powder and I
Please
spread it
don't
to
get him started again.
Interesting. Okay.
I
Well,
really don't want to hear this one.
that will be another story for another time.
that was just,
We
I was
are
just-
we are short on time, unfortunately.
my apologies. I forget myself. And Oliver looks over.
Oh,
Sorry, Akita.
Sister,
Yes.
Can I help you with something?
Yes, Julius said that you had a package for me or something.
Oh, yes! I forgot. He begins patting his robe that he's wearing. Not wearing his armor this morning, and just wearing a very, I don't want to say a simple robe. To anyone of a regular class, this would be an extravagant bathrobe, but it is. It's toned down. It's a muted kind of dark purple color without any gold trim or anything, but a very fine silk. He pats
I
it.
see you're not decked out today, brother.
Still early in the morning.
He's still wearing purple.
He reaches into his pocket and pulls out. There it is. And there's a small lavender-colored envelope with a red wax seal on it. About the size of your average postage, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not postage. It's
Card.
Envelope.
card. Thank you. A postcard envelope.
Okay.
Thank you. And hands it to you. This, bring this with you to Singon when you meet that family. You'll know who to give it to.
Okay, so don't open it.
Please, I would, I would rather you not. Make a perception check.
Okay. Yeah. 24.
24. As you hold the envelope for a second, it is scented.
Oh my gosh,
The-
brother, really?
Oh my.
It just yes.
Scented paper, brother.
He's gay.
Are you that extravagant?
Are you quite finished, sister?
I'm just surprised is all.
That's all well and good. Just please, sister, you are
Yes.
embarrassing me in front of the rest of the council.
I will give it to them.
Thank you.
Goodness.
Anyway,
Scented paper.
Richard, please
What were
continue
you
your
saying
story.
now?
That would be less
What were you
painful
saying?
than my sister making fun of me. Yes?
See, Paulo's just gonna randomly pop up next to Oliver and just glare at him for a moment.
I suppose you're leaving too?
Yes.
Well,
See, Paula, you don't have to glare at him. I think we've embarrassed him enough for today.
it's quite
Elena,
all right.
this has
I-
nothing to do with you.
Are you looking for a staring contest? Because Lena can attest that I was the best of all our siblings.
That's debatable.
I'm not-
brother.
I'm not doing this to play a game. Just so you know,
Yes.
I'm watching you, sir.
Until
The
you.
breath of a little person. It's great.
And if you do anything funny, trust me, I'll know.
That sounds quite agreeable.
She has ways.
And just remember,
Frightening.
I'm shorter than you, and I can kick you in the shins really hard.
You
true.
in the corner you hear Richard who's taking a sip of coffee just and
Do you have something to say, sir?
no, I just really would like to see you kick him in the shins right now.
Fucking drop kick him.
And Grimminder wipes her face as she is now covered in coffee that Richard had just displayed on him. I think it's quite all right. We don't need to see any violence this morning. Everything's perfectly all right.
See, Paula, we have to hurry.
After my morning shower.
All right, just one more thing. She does like the little whole finger, eye, starey thing and says, goodbye.
Goodbye. As you're turning and walking out of the room, you hear him sit back down and, well, that was a thing.
Goodbye, brother.
Goodbye, Elena. And Sapala.
Eh.
And Sapala.
And
Can't
Sapala.
forget Sapala.
Bye.
So, switching perspectives now. So, three of you were heading to the workstation.
Paper.
The what? The where? The who?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Someone was heading to Gilmore's, which was Xavier, I believe.
Yes.
I'm going with Xavier for the rule of two.
Glaive is going with Xavier for the rule of two. And then the other three of you were heading to the blacksmith, was it?
What?
What?
There would be two others. It would be Vale and.
Oh, I'm sorry, two others.
I
Where are you guys going?
went with them to the workshop.
Oh, you. So everybody left but me.
Well, to be fair,
Oh,
we
no.
left before they left.
I got you. You were with Elena that whole time, and I didn't even catch
I
that.
was. Everyone was saying goodbye, Elena. Goodbye, Sapala. We'll go
I thought,
right there.
I thought you went to the blacksmith.
Nobody cares about Vale.
It's
I'm
fine.
You win.
sorry.
You know what? Never mind. I stayed here. I stayed here with old Doris. Forget it.
Richard suddenly much more interested in these goodbyes.
Oh crap.
Oh.
Where would you have wanted to be, Vale? I apologize that I missed.
I will have sat down next to Eldoris.
At breakfast still?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. What
Only
do you two
person
do?
in this room I actually would have liked.
Well, Doris is very fidgety and anxious to get out of the castle and out of Whitestone today. He just kind of looks at Vale. Before we leave, I have something I'd like to do.
Okay.
Well, all this talk yesterday about guts and whatnot has me, I don't know, feeling very uneasy.
About what?
About gods, about the
Okay. I heard something.
Queen, I think it was that she called it. I'm very uneasy about the whole thing. And,
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that right now.
well, I don't know. I think anytime a god charges a person with responsibilities, what is their motive?
Yeah, we've got a lot to take in, but I'm hoping we can do that on the road. We gotta take this one step at a time. But we need to actually start stepping.
DM, would Uldoris have any, I guess, foreknowledge of the happenings with Elena's uncle?
I'll leave that up to your discretion. With the backstory that you have not openly discussed and what you and I both know, what you would have been told by what we've discussed of your background. Possibly not. Yeah, it's while stories of Vax'ildan are possibly more told in Iman or Singorn or even Whitestone, where you grew up, not
Probably
so
Vax'ildan,
much.
too.
Okay, but this is not, here in Whitestone is not the first place that he's heard of the Raven Queen, correct?
No,
He
no,
heard about
you know of the Raven Queen. You know of most of the entire pantheon. That's common knowledge, but Whitestone seems to have a more open relationship with the Raven Queen, where some people fear her, some people view it with dread and such. Whitestone seems to have a much more open understanding of the Raven Queen. They have a temple here. People seem to openly. They celebrated her day when it came by. Baron Eve, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, or was it Embertide? Embertide or Baron Eve was recognized, which is strange, but
okay. I would like to maybe stop at this temple to the Raven Queen. I don't know what your plans are for the day.
The one here?
It's the only one I know of.
Okay. I think it's more of a shrine than a proper temple, but I think it's the closest thing they have here.
Oh, okay.
But sure, I'm not planning on anything except leaving. If we can make it there and back within our hour.
I would also like to know that by now he's ready to go. He's collected all of his things.
Oh, yeah.
He is prepped and ready to jet.
Vale too. Vale is a little bit energized this morning, being that she no longer has any points of exhaustion.
So this morning,
Praise Sarenrae.
you make your way collectively, the two of you, outside Whitestone Castle, excusing yourself from breakfast with the three gossiping goons at the end of the table. Just as Richard was going into a very long discussion of what he had been doing with a prostitute inside a bar, you step outside into the brisk morning air, and Whitestone is comparatively dead. As you glance around and realize it's Winter's Crest today. Everyone is inside with their families. You make your way down the streets, and sporadically you see a few guards here and there, but most of them, as you pass, are slumped against the side of buildings or sitting around campfires and drinking ale and talking loudly with each other, and seem to even be just celebrating each other this morning. And you make your way through Dawnfather Square to the edge of town, to the graveyard, and to the shrine that was built inside a mausoleum to the Raven Queen, where you had just been the night prior with Elena briefly. As you step in, the wax candles a little bit lower and unlit, but the very small vessel with a deep crimson blood and the visage of the Raven Queen sitting behind it as you enter, shining a little bit of that cold winter light off the reflection of its surface as you come in.
It occurs to me, the last time we were in here, 2 of our party basically had mental breakdowns. Are we sure this is what we want to do?
I don't know. I have different things that trigger me, so to speak. But I think I'll be okay.
All right.
And Dolores enters the shrine. And I don't know, just he kind of spends a moment looking around, trying to get a feel for the atmosphere. He looks for his shadow to see what his shadow is doing, how his shadow is interacting.
Vale, you watch as Eldores takes a step into the room and pauses several feet in front of the statue, begins taking a look about the room, and as his footfalls stop, the shadow on the ground next to him, being cast by the open doorway, continues walking forward. And it's long and drawn out from the cascading light, but the footfalls shorten toward the wall and stand next to the Raven Queen, projected on the wall next to it, gazing at her face with its head slightly cocked to one side.
That's you, right? You're doing that?
Well, it's not me, it's my shadow. Yes. And he turns to his shadow and says, quite strange, isn't she?
The shadow quickly turns and looks at you and back to the Raven Queen.
Well, I thought it was a decent question.
Strange a god cannot choose to do things for itself. It requires people to do things for it. Raven Queen, if you can hear me, I don't know what your ambition is with Elena. Please don't hurt her.
Make a wisdom check. Just roll a d20 and add your wisdom modifier.
So it begins.
So it begins.
No. That is a total of
I'm sorry, I missed the number. What was it?
total of 10.
Total of 10. As your words echo through the mostly empty room and silence falls again, the shadow looks at you, no longer staring at the Raven Queen. Begins to look back and forth between the two of you. almost as if following a conversation that you cannot hear. But there's nothing. You sense no presence or connection in this room.
What's happening?
But I take note of what the shadow is doing. That's like
Yes.
listening to somebody else speak.
You see that.
I see. Yeah. I may not be able to hear you now, but I have a feeling the day is coming. That's all I wanted to do. I look over at Vale and I shrug and kind of go back to being my curious, awkward self.
Is this how you feel when we're doing things?
I don't know how you feel.
Okay. Very confused for starters.
Oh, I am always very confused.
Excellent. We're on the same
You all
page.
confuse me very much.
Yeah, I just kind of pretend to know what's going on most of the time.
Well, you do it much better than I do.
All right, let's go. The dogs are getting rowdy.
Yes, I feel very uncomfortable.
As Eldurus turns and walks out of the room, you look down, Vale, and watch as shadowless Eldurus just walks out of the room, casting absolutely no darkness upon the stone as he walks. You glance back at the Raven Queen statue and see that his shadow is still on the wall over there looking at her. It looks back towards you, realizes that Eldurus has already left, and very quickly shoots out of the room.
That's spooky. I try not to get in its way. Don't let it touch me.
Make a dexterity saving throw. No, I'm kidding.
I'll do it.
Do it, you won't.
No disadvantage.
Doesn't mean that you won't roll terribly.
21.
21, all right. Faster than a speeding shadow, you jump out of the way before it runs over your foot.
I rolled terribly.
Anyway, so that's the two of you.
rolling terribly?
Mackenzie. A little bit before Vale and Eldurus made their way downtown, walking fast, their faces past.
And they're homebound.
And I'm like,
Stop.
sound of the silencer.
You make your way through the mostly empty streets of Whitestone and come upon the still darkened facade of Gilmore's Glorious Goods. Let me make a perception check real quick. Oh, you're fine. All right, so you come down and
The guard?
yeah, you keep an eye on
Same
some of the
guard.
guards as you walk by, recognizing one from the previous day. Make a stealth check.
Oh, we have to stealth
I'll
in
even
the
use the
middle of
veil
day.
die.
Don't do
Do
that.
it.
That's a
Do
mistake.
it, you won't.
Natural 20.
All right. Like
So 29.
like a whisper, you dart past him as he's mostly drunkenly talking to one of his buddies. I should have trusted her. She was a lying bitch. You make your way through the rest of Whitestone to the front exterior of Gilmore's Goods, where you're standing currently, gazing at its darkened facade.
I am with him.
And yeah, Glade, make a stealth check as well.
This will be terrible.
That's pretty okay.
Crap, that's right. I'm wearing half plate. I have disadvantage. That's still okay. 14.
That's okay. He rolled a 3, so the two of you are standing there successfully.
It's closed yesterday. Now it's closed today too. Although I get today.
I'm sorry, I couldn't really hear what you said there.
Me neither.
I have to find a better setup for everything. He was closed yesterday. He's also closed today. Although today I understand why.
You're not here.
What?
She was talking to a pigeon.
Oh,
Yeah.
pigeon. Damn pigeons. Migrate south. I'm gonna try knocking the door very loudly.
Okay, so you walk up to the glass pane where you see the hung closed sign from the inside, embellished in a beautiful penmanship. You pick up your hand and pretty hard on the glass pane. A beat passes and there's no reply. Another beat passes, a minute. There's no movement from the interior. Make a perception check.
Shall I use the veil die again?
You got a nat 20 last time. It can only get worse from there.
Oh, so close to a net 20.
A
13. Close. I got 8.
As you pound on the glass and kind of press your hands up against it, pushing your nose against the glass and peering on the inside, the little light that comes in from the late morning air, you see on the inside, it looks pretty barren on the inside.
Well, that kind of stinks.
I'm going to cast a light on the windowsill to see if there is anything actually on the inside.
All right, so you cast light, and as Glaive's red light emanates on the inside, you see where previously it had looked empty, you now see that most of the objects that had been on the counter are now on the floor and have been apparently swept off the counter and knocked aside. You see the chair that was behind the counter is knocked over and in splinters on the ground. The beaded curtain that led to the upstairs is almost completely unstrung, and most of it is just laying across the ground. And the armor that had been on the stand is completely missing, and is the only thing that you notice is no longer.
This doesn't look correct. Are you able to notify the others?
I'm sorry, what did you ask if you're able to?
No, I was Glaive. Can you let Elena or somebody know about this out while I try to get this door open?
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna try to pick the lock.
Okay.
I'm gonna test it. Is it locked?
As you jostle the handle, it does not give, and you do feel that there is a lock to it.
That is 17.
Okay. So as you insert your pick into the lock, just as you feel the tumbler give a satisfying on the inside, there is a flash of white light from the lock, and a very loud, high-pitched whir begins to emanate from it, causing you to cover your hands with your ears, and begins broadcasting over the entire square.
Oh, of course.
Would that translate sending spell as I'm casting it?
He's probably cast it and is trying to send messages now.
Yeah, you all saying spell, Glaive?
I actually did send it to. I think I would send it to the person who I think would be the most able to handle this news calmly. Doris.
Okay. And the message that you send is, and I would like you to end this with, "Oh God, what's that noise?"
Oh, 'Cause- 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 'cause-
There was apparently some kind of scuffle in Gilmore's shop. We just used some light to look in the window. It's fine. We're gonna see if we can get in and see what's. Oh God! What's that noise? Oh! End message.
It, as that goes off, I quickly reach my hand around, grabbing Glaive, or just putting my hand on Glaive, and we out of there.
Where are you bamfing to?
As close towards the castle as we can.
The range
500 feet.
on 500 feet. All right, so you I don't know, you're on the map of Whitestone right now, so I can actually just.
Yeah, it's only like 30 feet.
Yeah, you got this.
You bamf into that alley where you had previously had one of your evening escapades.
Whoa, Savior!
Is probably, without being on a main street, knowing that you want to avoid guards coming down, and as you bamf into the alleyway, grabbing Glaive. Glaive, are you a willing creature?
I am confused, but upon seeing it as Xavier, I am willing.
All right. You feel your body shift into another dimension and poof, back out again. Just as a group of guards comes rushing around the corner toward Gilmore's Glorious Goods.
Uldoris immediately starts huffing it to Gilmore's. Vale, come on, we need to get there.
What?
And as you two were already on, you weren't far, and just a light jog later, excuse me, hiccups. A light jog later, you come around Dawnfather Square where you see a number of guards are entering the front of Gilmore's Glorious Goods now, blades drawn, 2 of them stationed out front as 3 step on the inside.
My God, they're gonna go kill Gilmore.
Yeah.
Oh, this looks bad.
What's going on?
Uldoris goes up to the door
Hey.
and starts trying to look
You go what?
at the door of the building, and I try to look in.
As you approach the front of the building, the 2 standing out front. Hey, what are you doing here?
We are friends of Gilmore's.
Is
What's
the
wrong?
noise still going off?
Yeah, the noise is continuously going off at this point.
Well,
The guard motions toward something triggered an alarm in here. We're investigating.
Is Gilmore okay?
That's being investigated now, citizen. About your business.
Uldoris is like, he does not relent. Like, he is in this guy's face, like trying to get around him, like looking through over his shoulder, trying to look in.
Make a perception check.
Oh, that's a natural 2.
A natural 2. It's very dark in there. You very briefly see the glint of someone's armor in the daylight as they move something around, and something on the inside shifts, and you hear kind of a slight clatter of something being kind of kicked aside. But other than that, you really can't make out anything.
I guess
Investigate faster.
at that point, Uldoris would probably step back. He's acting very impatient, though. Like, he wants to get in there with you.
Okay. About 5 minutes passes. 2 of the 3 guards that were in there come stepping back out. They talk in a hushed whisper to the guards out front, and you can kind of make out.
I would like to listen, if possible.
Make a perception check.
Oh, not at disadvantage. It's wonderful. Hey, it is wonderful. 24.
Okay. As you kind of lean in, trying not to really be seen that you're paying attention, but they don't seem to mind that you're there at this point, especially with you coming in saying that you were friends of Gilmore's. I said we didn't find anything. It appears whoever was here left in a hurry. Gilmore is not around, and there appears to be a sign of a struggle.
About this moment,
A struggle. What?
Glaive realizes I should probably tell them that we're fine. Sends a sending to Eldora saying, okay, Xavier decided that we needed to get out of there real quick, and then we were suddenly somewhere else. Where are we? I said it, Xavier.
We're not. We're just in an alley just across the street from Liam's house, which I assume.
Oh,
is
we're
the one-
across this.
Which I
we
assume is
are
the one that
in-
you were hinting at, Vale. I mean, Cal.
I give address, and then
All
end
right.
message.
So like we're right here.
No, that's not it. It's this is where I've been having Gilmore shopping.
Oh, this is. Oh, I thought this was Gilmore Shop right here.
No. That was Gilmore Shop, and the kind of square behind it is where your meeting was. You're right behind Gilmore's.
Yeah, we're just behind Gilmore.
The one that you did here, that is that actually is someone's house. That's the Lawbearer's house.
Yeah, and that's the one. The alley out here is where I thought.
Oh, okay, that's where you wanted to bamf to. Okay, you bamfed. All
That's
right.
the one. That's the one I thought you were.
No,
alluding
that
to.
alley is the one where you tackled Elena and fell on top of her in the snow.
Ooh.
You may have forgotten, but we didn't.
Oh, I didn't forget.
Happened in whispers.
Yeah, we're gonna be there because that was far away.
Okay. Are Eldora's and or not Eldora's? Yeah, Eldora's and are you going to make your way over to Xavier and Glaive?
Oh, I didn't hear the message.
Oh yeah.
Can I respond to this message?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's all I say. I start making my way there.
It's a great response.
Good message. What? Where are you going?
On this way.
Okay, what's this way?
Don't you hear the voices?
As the guards suddenly look over at you strangely.
I don't want to say it was a bad idea going into that shrine, but
I hear Glaive in my head.
I don't.
Oh,
Strange.
As
that's
the two of you
strange.
as the two of you begin to walk toward that alley, one of the guards, the third one, comes out, his hands on his head. He pulls out a small hammer and kind of hits the back of the lock, and you hear the alarm sounds kind of, and finally stops going off.
That's the best sound ever.
Puppy.
Agreed. Don't you start with that noise, refrigerator.
All right, you heard it here first, ladies. The alarm spell is actually just a small puppy strapped to the wall that just sits there.
God, no! I don't.
God, why that sounds so?
Oh
See,
my
Foley does
god,
not
he turned
approve
it
of
off
animal
by hitting it with
cruelty.
a hammer.
Elena doesn't approve of animal cruelty.
But Peggy does?
So
No.
So Eldora's and Vale, you make your way into following Eldora's direction strangely and
Warily.
you come around the corner to see huddled in this alley. Which alley were you in? The kissing alley or the other?
It was an actual kissing, it was
There's
like
no
pretend
kissing alley
kissing,
yet.
but whatever.
Oh, that's
The
right.
shipping alley or the other alley?
Oh.
We're the one by the Lawbearer's house.
Okay. So you just come into this very thin alley between just two buildings. Not much in here, so Glaive's just standing up against one wall with his foot propped up against it. Xavier kind of huddled under his cloak.
So,
Hello.
See, I told you they were this way.
You were correct. Someone broke into Gilmore's and set off an alarm? And
What did you do, Xavier?
the guard said there was signs of a struggle inside?
Let me explain.
You are a bad person.
What did you do to kill
That I
Gilmore?
will not dispute at this moment, but let me explain this current
Do it.
situation. We were just seeing why Gilmore was still closed, and I still had a bad feeling about it. So we tried to take a look inside through his window, and with the help of Glaive, he shed some light, literally, on the situation. And we saw people, especially someone like Gilmore, would keep their store relatively clean, even if it's closed. And we saw everything on counters knocked off. We saw that immaculate armor on that display stand stolen, gone. We just saw somebody look like somebody barged through everything. And I didn't know where you all were. We thought we were out of the range of the earrings. So I had Glaive send a message to a sending spell to one of you or somebody, whoever he chose, and I'm guessing it was you, Old Doris, that he sent it to. And I tried to pick the lock to get in so we could investigate, not knowing that there was an alarm spell on the lock.
You triggered the puppy.
I did.
Honestly, I was aiming for the person that would handle the situation the calmest.
Well, I mean, I didn't say anything. I just said we had to get there.
Well, the guards are still alive, so. Say we're doing all right.
And no names got dropped.
Except Gilmore.
Except
Well,
Gilmore.
we tried to get in, they wouldn't allow it. I told them we were friends of Gilmore's, but they still wouldn't. It might be good to. I know we talked about it yesterday. It might be good to try and figure out where Gilmore is with your orb of seeing or what.
All right. Could give it a try. Let me look it up real quick. All right, are we relatively enclosed right now?
Yeah, make a perception check.
All of us or just one person?
Just Vale.
Because that's
Okay.
funnier.
Because she asked.
9.
Yeah.
Glancing around, you don't see anyone.
Cool. I rolled poorly.
I knew it would come back.
Yeah, well, yeah. So,
Okay,
I will...
something happened, so I got disconnected really quick. Is Vale are we looking for
We're
someone?
all dead.
They're going to use the ball of squares. Sorry,
Squaring.
can't word.
The ball is
The ball of square.
Okay.
Of scrying and look for Gilmore.
All right, so you pull out the orb and begin to cast. And excuse me while I try to figure out what Gilmore's wisdom save is.
Well, first of all, where is Gilmore?
Yes.
Because
Oh, he knows.
Who is
Oh, I know.
Gilmore?
Yeah, I know.
I
where
can
he
only
is.
do it on the same plane of existence.
Or does he?
Well, you can still try.
I can still try. But I don't think Gilmore's here.
Please be on the same plane of existence, Gilmore.
Gilmore's dead
Please be on
somewhere.
the same plane of existence.
He
All right,
is.
Let me see here.
But trick question. He's a corpse.
I don't think that works either. Well, maybe it will. Does a corpse make a saving throw?
Just give me 1 sec.
Why is Gilmore?
What is the saving throw for?
The DC is 17.
All right, let me see here.
And
You are that
I don't know the target well, so I believe the modifier is not modified.
But you do have his patch.
If that counts.
All right, I'm just gonna roll.
We are sponsored by Gilmore's Glorious Goods, so if that item that was once in his possession counts.
What was the saving throw again?
It is 17.
It is wisdom, though, right?
Yes.
All right, let's see here.
I'm trying to help you here.
All right, I rolled very low on that actually. Okay. So your vision shifts, flying into the sky faster than you've ever had it fly before, with the spell, and it shifts across the entire landscape. You see trees and snow whooshing by, mountains and plains, great vast expanses until you see an endless ocean in front of you. Your vision shifts past that ocean. You see another landmass appear on the horizon. Your vision shifts again. And now you see before you an expansive desert. This desert terrain going for miles and miles and miles. The vision shifts once again, and you see a crowded street where people are shouting back and forth in a language that you do not understand. And a cloaked figure steps into the center of your vision wearing a simple burlap cloak with the hood pulled up, and as it turns looking around, you see beneath the hood Gilmore's handsome face covered by this burlap. And make a perception check real quick.
While scrying. Oh no.
While scrying.
Mid-scry perception check. Go.
Mid-scry perception check.
17. Or 19.
19. And as he kind of is holding the cloak over his head, trying to keep his face hidden, you see a glint of rainbow-colored scales beneath the cloak. And he quickly turns and goes the other direction, and your vision comes back to you.
Okay. Gilmore's fine. He is somewhere hot. Don't blame him.
Well, that's the important thing. He is okay.
And it looked like he was wearing that nice set of armor that was in his shop. So
I'm surprised you could use armor.
anyone can use armor.
Can you use armor?
Yes, I can use armor.
Of course I can.
I just don't need it. It slows me down.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
At this point, you hear the crunch of snow behind you as you turn around. One of the guards that had been investigating the building has followed the footprints in the snow in this direction and comes around the corner. Am I interrupting something?
Yes.
We're having a secret meeting about secrets.
Oh God. I don't think there was a good way for that sentence to end.
Assuming you're being facetious, we are investigating a break-in and possible domestic dispute, or at the very least a break-in. And as you were witnesses and said to have known the victim, perhaps you could help shed some light on what's going on?
Do I?
His name is Gilmore.
Yes. Allow me to restart. My name is Anders, and we wanted you to just come back with us, tell us if you knew any enemies, answer a few questions, take a look around, and see if you were friends of him, you'd know what is out of place, what might have been stolen, what might. It appears most of the things are still in the shop, just strewn about.
Okay, before you go any further, Gilmore is in a hot, sandy place right now, and he appears relatively fine.
So you know where?
I do now.
kind of.
And how do you know this?
It's called scrying magic.
Hey, well, he's just trying to do his job.
Thank you.
Calm down the sass.
Do you want? All right. That's. If you'll just come with us back to Gilmore's,
No.
we'll just take this down as an official statement. Just have a look around, make sure that there wasn't a second party involved. Or were you able to be in contact with Sean?
Oh shit, I was actually.
Uh,
Nope. Because I forgot. Watched him for 10 minutes straight, didn't say anything. Not creepy at all.
Not creepy at all.
Tomorrow.
All right,
Do I
just
know
come with me.
anything about Marquette?
Monk of the Cobalt Soul,
Maybe
make
heard
a
of it?
history check.
It's also at this time that I look over at Xavier. Should we get Elena in on this?
Say that one more time.
I said, Xavier, should we get Elena in on this? Should we include her in this? I mean, she's known Gilmore longer than it.
I feel like we shouldn't. At least not at the moment.
Sorry, y'all, I'm cold.
I got a 12.
I mean, it's not hard knowledge that you. Well, actually, let me put it this way: you don't know it's Marquette because
Okay.
there are several deserts in the world, but I mean, you know of that continent.
Can I tell that Gilmore is Marquesian?
Yeah, you know that Gilmore is from Marquette just by his.
Okay, so it would be safe to make an educated guess that he's in Marquette.
I will allow you to make the educated guess that he is somewhere on the continent of Marquette.
He is likely somewhere on the continent of Marquette. Potentially home for Winter's Crest if they celebrate there with his family.
Are you guys gonna come
Yeah.
with me back to his place or no?
Yes.
Okay, come on. So he leads you back toward Gilmore's goods, Gilmore's glorious goods. The other guards appear to have left. There's just two stationed outside the now open door.
Perfect.
The other two have left. Andrus walks you on the inside, past the door. As you step in, your feet crunch on glass as one of the display cases appears to have shattered. As you make your way in, he closes the door behind you, and you now see this chalk outline of runes on the inside of the door that has been smudged by whatever they hit it with. Now obscuring the alarm sigil.
I'd like to do like an insight check on this guy.
Go ahead and roll an insight check.
That's not bad. Not bad. Insight. 18.
18. All right. This guy looks a little tired. He looks like a man who is currently having to deal with the law on Winter's Crest and would really rather be somewhere else right now, but is a good soldier and a good man trying to continue to do his job, even though he's going above and beyond right now.
That's what I was looking for.
So as he comes in, he kind of leans on the counter and just kind of. So, Sean Gilmore, which one of you said that you knew him?
Well, we all know.
Well, technically, all of us have known him for about 2 weeks now.
2 weeks. All right.
A little longer for
No longer
some
than
of
that.
us.
Okay. So, do you know?
We
Do you know he was planning on leaving, or did he tell anyone he was leaving? No one.
Not that we are aware of, sir.
I hadn't seen him in a couple days.
A couple days. When was the last time you spoke to him?
Oh God.
About
don't
a week
actually know.
ago.
About a week ago. All right. Glancing around the shop, I assume you've frequented the store. Is anything missing, out of place?
Can I make an investigation check
Everyone can go ahead and make an investigation check.
with advantage?
Say I kind of already know something that's missing.
Yes.
The mannequin here, and I point towards it. He had a very immaculate armor there. I gazed upon it every time I walked in the store because it was. I don't personally wear armor, but it was just very finely crafted, and it appears to be missing.
I saw him wearing it.
You saw him wearing it.
Yes.
Oh,
All right. He pulls out a small journal and starts like.
That was the
pulls out
one, right? It's that armor.
Yeah, that's what you saw. He was wearing the dragon scale armor.
Okay, that's what I thought.
He pulls out a small notebook, begins taking notes. Missing armor, possibly worn by missing person, possibly somewhere hot. Did you roll investigation, Vale?
I did. I got a 19 also.
19.
Dolores got a
got
21.
18.
21 from all right. So Eldores, what
18,
you
19,
noticed
19,
is
and 20. Jeez.
that the broken glass cabinet was where Gilmore had been pulling out potion vials anytime that you were purchasing potions. And glancing inside, there are no vials on the inside at all.
Looks like he's been cleaned out of potion.
Cleaned out of potions.
This is where he kept his supply and pretty.
Yes. And Xavier, with your roll, or no, Vale, with your roll, you remember that at one point you had noticed Xavier was looking at a couple scrolls in here. Those are all missing. As well as, and Xavier, with your 19, you noticed that there had been a belt hanging on the wall that is missing now as well. Oh, and the there had been a rack of arrows in this room that all of them are missing.
A rack of arrows.
Man, they took everything.
What is here?
Glancing
This
around,
might
you
be
still
shorter.
see you still see a couple bags hanging around that you remember that you'd glanced at. One was a bag full of beans. There was a bag of holding. There's a dagger sitting on a counter. Well, not on the counter, now on the floor. What looks like to be a flask. And draped across the other mannequins in the room, there are two cloaks.
All right.
Basically, anything that was small is missing. So the arrows are missing.
Mhm.
Anything that was in a potion vial is missing. Small scrolls. There are none of the gems of shielding that he had made in the room.
Looks like they just took the small stuff.
Didn't Elena say she had something being worked on?
Yeah, armor or something other.
Yeah.
Does anyone know anything about it?
No. She just says there was something that she had that he was working on. Give us no inkling
Oh, I
of
thought
what
it was armor.
Has anyone noticed how she's very cryptic with us, but talks too much to everyone else?
Could I investigate the items that were on the counter that are now on the floor?
That were on the counter?
Yeah, that are now flung on the floor.
Yeah. Make an investigation check on that. And if you're looking at that, he motions you like, if you want to take a look at his quarters upstairs, you're welcome to glance around there as well.
All right, we'll definitely do that.
Worth a look.
Yes.
Wait, idiot. I could just ask him what he's doing. I have sending.
Oh, God. That's right.
I could have telepathically had a conversation with him for 10 minutes too, but
You
I
watch
forgot that too.
you watch as the guard with his pencil on his paper just kind of stops writing for a second, looks up at you two.
That was not in character.
Oh, well, I believe who said it out loud, I assume.
I did say it out loud because I'm trying to stay in character. George.
Sorry, Anders, it's early.
He
My
looks up at you.
apologies.
He looks up at you with his quill on the paper. Go on.
Well, the way that the spell works is that I can have a 25-word question, and then they can respond with another 25 words. So, how's about you tell me what you want answered, and I will try to ask him, as long as he is in a situation where he can answer.
He begins scrawling on the paper.
I can catch that 3 times.
Well, that's the third level spell, correct?
That is a 3rd level.
Oh, wow.
See, you could still
I am
cast
not
it,
using
right?
my 5th level spell slot.
Well, you still have 4th, right?
Yeah, I have 2 fourths.
You should have 3 at 9th level.
Ooh.
Oh! I should.
Oh!
Spoilers.
Sorry.
Supposed to do that when we desperately need it. My god, I've got an extra spell slot.
My God.
I have heard an
He hands you the piece of paper. Do you like me? Yes or no?
Are you single?
Too soon.
I really okay.
Do you like me? Yes, no. I write in a
Alright.
3rd option.
After a couple moments, he hands you a piece of paper. It says, "Alarm triggered at Whitestone shop. Looks like missing items and struggle. What happened? Why did you leave?"
That's a lot to cover in 25 words.
It's 17.
Yeah, for him to respond,
Ooh.
though.
Twitter.
ET dubs.
Damn it.
This is
On our
very
character limit.
But yes, this is a lot to cover in. I have multiple casting. First, I'm going to cast a spell and ask him if he's in a place where he can respond. If he doesn't answer, then we won't be able to get any information from him.
He didn't seem in battle or anything 10 minutes ago.
Well, yes,
10
but
minutes
that can change.
I know.
Regardless, I do take the paper, and then I cast the spell, and my first thing that I do is I ask the question.
The whole thing that Andres gave you.
Oh no, my question.
All right. So
Gilmore.
go ahead.
Gilmore, we have some questions that we would like to ask you, me and Elena's group, back in Whitestone. If you are capable of answering, please tell us. If you are not, remain silent. That's the end.
A few moments pass, and you get back a very mumbled, "Not a very good time."
Noted.
What did he say?
You said not a very good time. In a very quiet tone. Whenever somebody answers, like, they have to say it out loud.
Well, that's inconvenient.
Extremely.
So, I assume that he's alive and well. We can just merely treat this as a break-in for the time being, then. And Xavier, make your investigation check upstairs.
I was investigating the items on the ground.
Oh, right.
first.
So he did not seem surprised. Oh, no, you didn't ask him.
Okay.
He's probably more irritated.
That is a 22.
22. Yeah. So on the ground, there's the dagger of venom, a decanter of endless water, a bag of beans, bag of holding, a set of gauntlets of defense, what? What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
They're greedy. Leave him alone.
That's most of what's sitting on the ground.
How many guards are in this?
Currently, Captain Andrus. Currently, Andrus. Yeah,
You're not here, Elena.
So currently just Andrus.
just Andrus.
Which way is he looking?
Right at you.
Damn it. I wonder why he didn't take
Right.
some of these items.
Probably didn't have a use for them, or they're too hard to resell.
It's very true.
Anyway,
I'm going to investigate behind the counter.
all right,
Ludoris will head upstairs to investigate upstairs.
all right.
Is there anything different behind the counter?
Glancing behind the counter, you do see a lockbox that is open, and as you bring up the lid, you see there is no coin in it whatsoever, except for 2 copper pieces.
No.
But there's room in there for several hundred gold to be stored. But it is completely empty. You see several hooks for holding key rings, but all of them are empty. It looks like this has been completely cleaned out behind the counter.
Well, whoever did this, if it was Gilmore or somebody else, they decided to take all his keys. The lockbox is open. Everything behind here has been cleaned out.
You hear from upstairs, "What was the name of his assistant?"
What is the name of his assistant?
That was Glenn.
I think it was Glenn.
"Where is she?"
What?
Where is she?
Oh,
He comes down the stairs. "Where is she?"
His assistant. We haven't. We weren't informed he had an assistant. Really. Do you know where she lived?
I don't. I rolled a 17 for upstairs, by the way.
Oh, we'll get to that in a minute. But as you're down here currently talking to the guard, he calls out to the people outside. They begin going out and searching for Glenn. Is anyone else doing anything down here?
Was his back turned during that?
Yes, his back was turned.
Could I use Mage Hand, which is invisible, to grab the bracers and quickly throw them in my bag?
Make a sleight of hand check.
Natural 20.
With a very swift motion, the gauntlets of defense fly into your bag just as Anders turns around, and he doesn't seem to give notice.
so Anders,
Yes.
there's a mage in the castle, Grand Poobah Jakar. His capabilities are, but he also may be able to cast this sending spell, or a message, or whatever. He might be able to help you get in contact with him.
I shall investigate the Grand Poobah, then.
Because technically, I believe he is part of the hierarchy of Whitestone now, and therefore is required to assist in matters of law.
Absolutely. I shall see what we can do.
Hold that thought. I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna smash my hands together.
Titans.
A swirl and a flurry of snow rushes out from me, and I cast Scry
Okay.
because I can apparently have that spell. Yay!
All right. Who are we casting Scry on?
I personally want to know what Gilmore is doing.
Okay.
Let's see.
It's a scry party.
Pretty fly for a scry guy. Dun,
Ah.
dun, dun, dun. I hate myself.
You should not.
Oh, there went my 5th level spell.
I'm not casting my 5th level spell. I cast 5th level spell.
I'm not using it for talking though.
You can't. You don't have the special scry.
I have special scry.
Special scry can stuff it.
Works though.
Oh.
While he's doing this, Oldoras, this is what you find upstairs. It's in your notes.
Dun dun dun.
Do you see what I'm talking about?
I'm looking. What is it called?
It says note 2, and then a name that I won't say out loud. Oh, and I'm gonna edit something on there.
Okay.
Just so I don't have to say it out loud.
Okay, Xavier, we do not tell Elena about this.
About what?
Exactly. Like
There,
where
I
you
saved
can-
some changes, so you might want to refresh
Sometimes.
that. Glaive, what was your spell DC? Oh, fudge. Never mind. It
One
doesn't
lower.
matter.
16.
It doesn't even matter. I rolled a 2. And because I don't know Gilmore's, I'm just kind of guessing what his modifier will be, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be
I don't
plus
think it's plus 15.
12. So your
Holy
vision,
crap.
much like Vale's, shifts up into the sky and cascades across the landscape. You watch as the sun shifts from its position in the sky all the way down to a crescent moon on the other end of the world, across a moonlit desert and into this darkened, bustling city. Your vision focuses on this dark-robed burlap character as he's approaching a shadowy figure in what appears to be a dirty alleyway. And the person who's in the alleyway is crawling backwards on his hands and scooting on his butt as the person that your vision has focused on, Gilmore, is standing over him. And you hear him speaking in a language you don't understand. And he does something with his hand, and you watch as this gash appears on the other man's face. Grabs him with a hand. Punches him right in the face. And you watch as Gilmore, just continuing to repeat this question in Marquesian, begins just punching this other guy in the face. And that's when your vision shifts back.
Fast. Vale, you forgot to mention it was nighttime there.
I'm not sure I got that part.
I may not have mentioned that to Vale.
I got the desert part.
Are people
Wait, did you
messaging
see him
me?
too?
So Uldoris comes back downstairs,
There I am.
and I would say the things that are in my notes, he has taken and put away on his.
Okay.
Is there anything else? Well, before he comes downstairs, is there anything else of interest or note up here?
Glancing up in his room, as you come upstairs, before you found anything else, the one thing that you notice right at the foot of the bed in the center of this main chamber that's his room, there's the workstation where you see a number of like alchemical books and such of the like. The center of the room, it looks as if burned into the wood is this circle in the center of the room. of arcane sigils that was not that you. It looks fresh. Maybe a couple days old. The wood still, as you run your fingers along the wood, the charcoal still like rubs off on your fingers.
All right. Uldoris comes back downstairs. He is in Ankara. I don't know where that is, but that's where he is. He left a note for Elena. And there is a fresh teleportation circle on his floor. Maybe 2-3 days old.
Oh,
He's also beaten the ever-living tar out of somebody in a back alley. So that's fun.
How do you know that?
I use Scry.
Oh, didn't know you could do that.
I didn't either.
You,
And I decided to see if I could.
Doris, you mentioned something about a teleportation circle.
Gloss
Yes,
over it.
it's fresh on his floor in his room. It's not the one that was there when we came back from that shrine, that temple. This is a new one. It's only a few days old.
I want to go.
Doris lifts up his hand, and you can see the char still on his fingers from where he traced.
I'm gonna go find it and
Okay.
memorize it.
All right, you go upstairs, and we know your brain, and your journal. Between the two, memorize the sigil that he had transcribed onto the ground.
I did have one other question.
Sure.
Before I finish in here, any of the items that are left behind, namely two things that have had my interest: the bags on the walls, and first, are any of those bags of holding? And second being any of those in that dagger. Do we remember what the price on any of those items?
it was
Yes.
500 gold for a bag
There-
of holding.
There is a bag of holding, and yes, it was 500 gold.
Did they still have that bag of holding after I bought one?
There appears to be one in here.
Cool.
And as well, that dagger was 3,500 gold pieces. And those gauntlets that I probably shouldn't say that out loud.
I
Never
don't want to talk about it.
Talk about what?
Exactly.
What are you gonna do with gauntlets?
With their bracers.
They're
Bracers.
bracers, sir. What are you
No,
gonna do with
these are
bracers?
these are gauntlets.
Going to give them to me and make me unstoppable.
That's right.
Yeah, I was.
Because Yuldoris is the best.
We will power up Uldoris.
At this
He's
point, by the way,
almighty.
just because we've been on the same people for a little while here, Elena and Paula, what have you been doing? I feel bad. Elena has forgot to press push to talk.
I like it better. when she
Elena?
did it.
I do not like
Lena-
your brother.
Most people do not like him.
No, I really don't like him.
I understand that, Subala. Luckily, you're not related to him.
Yeah, luckily.
There is good in him. He is just blinded by his ambition right now.
He's also an idiot.
He's not an idiot. He's actually quite intelligent. Just once
Well.
again, blinded by his ambition and ego and pride.
We'll see. I think my threat worked on him.
Hopefully. Hopefully my threats have worked on him. Hopefully Julius will keep an eye on him. Hopefully he will not make some dumb mistakes.
I
feel
trust
that my-
Julius.
Julius is a kind. He's more kind than Oliver. But I don't feel great leaving Whitestone at this time right now. Because of Oliver.
Well, I don't think we really have a choice.
No, I didn't have a choice. Y'all are so set on leaving. But I understand why.
I think a lot of things are connected, and I think we need to start pursuing those things. And if we don't, we may not get the chance to.
I understand completely, and everything with the Raven Queen and my parents, I need to get stronger so that whatever she has prepared for me, I am ready.
Well, you're not alone, so don't forget that. You have all of us.
I know that, but what she has prepared for me, there are tasks that I will have to complete on my own.
Do you know what these tasks are?
No. I just know the path of the Raven Queen's champion is, or can be, a lonely one.
Not if I can help it.
I mean, it led to my uncle's death, and
Your
that's
uncle
why he's not-
died?
Yeah, that's why he's not with us. He gave his life for my mother. That's why I'm here, because of my uncle and what he promised the Raven Queen.
Your uncle is a good person.
Yes, he is. He was a kind person.
Well, it looks like you got some of that from him.
I hope so. Is it nearing the hour? Where is everyone?
Oh,
I
it's
don't
definitely
know.
it's a little past that hour now.
Did we decide to meet at the castle or the
Stables,
Tree.
I believe.
Stables.
Yes.
shall
We
head
should
to the stables?
probably. Yeah, Belle might be mad at us for being late.
So you make your way down toward the stables on the edge of town to find it. The rest of the party not there.
Well,
Okay, I go into the earring and I say, "Hello,
Are we within range?
guys.
You are within range.
Hello?
Yes.
Is it not past the hour?
Oh.
We've been detained by the guards.
But
Why have you been detained by the
We
guards?
haven't been detained by the guards.
Glaive,
They
what did
wanted
you
to
do?
ask us questions.
Wait,
Glaive,
what
shut
did
up.
you get yourselves into?
It
Where
wasn't
are
me,
you?
it was Xavier.
yes, we're not leaving.
What,
There's
Xavier,
nothing
what did you get
happened.
yourself into? Where
Cow
are
casually
you?
drinks.
Where are you?
I didn't know anyone could see me.
We're heading that way now.
No, we'll come to you. Where are you?
No. But
We're done.
I gather
Why are
everyone.
you so?
I gather
what-
everyone we go.
We'll be right there.
Elena,
Uh,
let's just wait. We have to leave
wasn't-
anyways.
I wasn't done. All right, bye. Says Anna.
That's right.
That's as much
Then
information as we
walk
know.
with us.
And we
All right,
walked
I'll
away.
talk to the poobah, I guess.
That's right. We push our problems on other people.
That's gonna be an interesting conversation for role play later with myself.
Oh my.
Excuse me, do you know anything about Gilmore? Oh, do I know it?
Do I know about Gilmore?
My favorite character. Everyone hates him.
We have our reasons.
He
To
called
be
me
fair,
short.
I hate him ironically.
Clay, why would you say that? Why would you say that?
Anyway, so a few minutes pass, and you make your way over to the stables where Elena and Sapala have been hard at work getting the horses ready, as the young boy has bridled them and gotten them all set and ready to go.
And what trouble did we get ourselves into today?
We'll tell you outside of town.
Yeah, let's just get going.
When they walk up, I just want Paula to be braiding flowers in all the horses' hair.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be appropriate.
As you all approach, there are these beautiful pink and red. What's the name for them? What's the Christmas flower?
Peony?
Poinsettias?
No, not peony.
Poinsettia.
Poinsettia.
Pink and red poinsettias interwoven into all the manes of the horses.
I was helping her. Trinket hair is especially difficult to braid, but horses is so much easier.
All right, we ready?
Yeah, let's shove off. I
All
picked
right.
the horse with the
All
least amount of flowers.
They are.
They are
all
all
of them.
absolutely braided in every one of the hairs. You grab the one that seems to be the least gaudy, has the most color matching at the very least. You all mount up and begin to make your way out of the city and out of the limits of Whitestone as the sun approaches its zenith. We're going to go ahead and take our break as travel begins. And I do apologize. The break might run a little. I have to go pick up my wife, but I shall remain on the line here just in case someone says anything. And if we have to start, I'll just be driving. So
We can wait.
We'll
Does not
wait.
sound
Well,
safe.
All right.
I'm still here. So.
All right.
Break time. And we're back. All right,
we?
so Vera and Aran are on the open road and beginning their way toward Whitestone. I'd like to know, or not yet, toward Whitestone.
Yeah, turn around.
Don't do that to me.
Back they go. So I would like to know where we're going.
That is a
Where
great
are we
question, and I
going?
am glad you asked.
So, Vale, where are we going?
Well, if you'll just observe, can I draw? There we go. Nope. Nope.
It's
You're
the
gonna put up
paintbrush.
the world map. Put up the world map.
The world map is up.
Not on my screen.
Then get good, son.
Oh, it's on my screen.
Maybe I just need to refresh, okay?
Okay, now Vale, is it a smart idea to go through the to go on the road?
I mean,
I mean,
it is logically faster, right?
Yes, but we also don't want to accidentally bring an entire army with us, or
What?
run into armies travel by road.
I
the
don't-
Parchwood is not the safest.
that's a valid point.
The safest way through the Parchwood is through the road.
Why did you
If
start
someone-
turning British all of a sudden?
It's slightly British. Is what
Because
I was
both
going
her parents are
for.
British, but she's Southern.
It's really hard to do a
If
southern
someone
a
could-
British accent when you're southern, and it's just like
If someone could trace the line that I've drawn here, please, while I'm holding this button down,
Yeah, sure.
that'd be great. Thank you.
I got you.
See, Paula is going to throw in her
It
2
disappears
cents.
for me when I do it, so I have to unclick every once in a while.
It's fine.
You know of my
Right.
situation, Vale.
crash.
That's right.
Just keep it in mind.
What was the? We'll bring an army with us if we go on the road. What was that?
Like that?
Yeah.
If we get the attraction of the not the Goliaths, the orcs and the goblins, the ones that are all crazy and death happy,
Uh-huh.
and then they see us, and then we see the army behind them, and then we start running, they're going to come after our sweet, tasty buns and carve them into little bloody bits.
Okay. Why is that any different traveling on the road versus not?
Because if we are running through a bunch of trees, that's going to slow them down.
It's gonna slow our horses down too.
How about I scout ahead with Beak?
Please note that this path takes us widely around Westrun. I don't want to go to Westrun
Why don't you want to go to West Front?
because we'll likely get caught up doing something there. Literally the only reason.
That's a good reason.
Yeah.
It really is. Oh, look,
Okay.
someone needs saving. We'll do it.
So essentially, we're going. I would like to put forth that we go from Whitestone to Singorn, and then resupply, and then go south.
I mean, I do need to stop in Sceneborn, so
Well,
It's multi-purpose. I forgot Whitestone was so far north.
how do you forget that we're like the most?
I'm
northern
not from
city in
here.
Mordor? Do you not realize how cold it is here?
No. I've been wearing
She
a
wears
cloak
no
this whole time.
sleeves.
I'm immune to
You've
the
been
cold.
trying to forget.
You've been trying
Is
to
that what
forget
all this
your
frostbite
goodness.
is?
She does not know what cold and hot means.
All right, so you begin making your way down the path.
I do have another suggestion.
Shoot.
We still go to Singorn, but we take another few days and go quickly through Amon, then head to Singorn, then we can head south. Because I do need to visit some people in Amon. Jesus.
I don't know. That's 46 feet out of the way.
All right. So just for a note, let me see here. What
46 feet
what
out the way.
what speed are you going to travel? Normal, fast, or slow?
Do we want to take points of exhaustion?
No.
Normal.
Let's start with
No.
normal.
Okay. So,
I believe it takes about a week to get to Amon from Whitestone.
well, so here's my query here. So down at the bottom of the page, we got this lovely handy dandy thing right here called the legend. It tells you distances and stuff like that. So half of that bar is 100 miles. That
Um,
first little section there, the first one, the red one, go a little further down. No,
can't
the
see
other way.
Numbers in my way.
Hang on, let me just go. This guy right here, that's 20 miles. Now, according to D&D, at a normal pace, 24 miles is a whole day. So that means that you can go that distance in one day.
Oh my god, those poor horses from Vox Machina.
So you'll make it about that far in one day.
This sucks.
Yay.
I hate this already. Travel sucks.
it
Oh my
does.
god.
Rock-
I'm a Goliath. On a horse meant for a person.
That poor horse.
Oh god.
Yeah.
So we have to trade out horses every now and then. Oh my god.
This is gonna be a horse rotation. It's gonna be like Peggy's tires.
Shut up.
It's gonna take like a month to get
Oh
there.
god. I don't think horses should look like that. Horse everywhere.
Okay. So,
So this is gonna take like
what
2 months.
are you on?
Let's do this.
I mean, we have,
Do we have enough rations?
no, because I thought it was gonna take a week to get to Amon.
well, hang on here. Let me
And I figured it would take roughly the same time to get the Singorn.
let me see here. So yeah, that's I think what Matt Mercer was saying. That's like it's a week from Amon to Whitestone. For one, cutting this way.
Oh god, no. Those are mountains and oceans.
Well, that's the way. I'm pretty sure Vox Machina, when they traveled, they went across Craghammer, and they went along the Alabaster Sierras and up like this.
Did they?
I remember they were talking about being along the bluffs for most of it.
Well, those still exist here on the path.
Right, but they were right along it. Like that's still 24 miles from the coast.
It might be
Um,
best to go with that.
I have a dumb idea. Does Whitestone have a harbor?
It does not.
No.
Yet.
Never mind.
That's why it's a dumb idea.
Well, it's not on any
We could
water.
Take a boat.
And that would probably take even longer.
Okay, so let me put it this way. What is the quickest way to get to Amon?
Magic.
Horse.
Apart from magic that we don't have access to.
Dragons.
Almost.
We don't have access to dragons.
Alright, let's go.
Hang-
Let's dig up a old giant titan and we'll just situate ourselves right on top and we'll just march across all of
I like it.
Tal'Dorei that way. That'll be much
Oh my
quicker.
god, that's gonna take forever.
I mean, I can always turn into a giant bird.
Carry one or
I
two of them.
mean, flying would kind of be faster.
But we have these horses that we've spent money on.
We can eat them.
Flying horses.
Sapala.
Was that
How
Sapala?
are we going to fly horses?
I'm sorry. I had to say it.
All right.
Kayla. Xavier,
Okay,
can you see
I'm
me
good.
since I reloaded?
No.
You're not supposed to
I
read.
think. I
My
think
roll 20 froze.
Oh god.
I-
Yeah, like
I can.
on horseback, I don't think there was any way they could travel that distance in a week.
Yeah.
Unless they went fast.
I can
Well,
turn into
fast-
a giant eagle.
Fast is
Still more
34.
than a week.
Oh my gosh, fast is 34. It's not even that much more.
Yeah.
So this is about a week.
Yeah.
It's not a month. Maybe a little under, maybe 3 weeks.
Oh God, this is
I'm
awful.
I'm finding out. Hang on. We're going slowly but surely. I probably should have done this in advance, but I was so busy with
That's
plot
fine.
stuff.
It's
Wait,
fine.
were you
Plot is more
talking?
important.
Are you talking about the first time they went, like before they
Yeah,
lost?
during the Briarwood arc, they traveled to Whitestone
On horseback.
On horseback.
Yeah, they got teleported out of the city of Amon because they were on lockdown.
No, they didn't. They were told not to leave, or not to look like they were fleeing. Right?
I seem to remember something about that. Yeah.
They were told not to leave. Consequences and cows happened.
It's going to take us about a month to get there.
Jesus.
Yeah, they were teleported out, and then the Dragonborn had to leave.
They're already
No.
halfway there when that happened.
No, yeah, they were like in the Alabaster Sierras, headed to Whitestone, and then Harpies got their horses.
Yeah,
And
let's
then-
avoid that part.
And then Tiberius bamfed out.
That's his name.
Tiberius!
Tiberius
Whose cousin we definitely did not leave to
I'm
shoot.
from Draconia. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
29.
17, 18, 19, 20.
Nearly.
29. 29 days. So 1 day short of a month.
Unless it's February.
No, it's currently December.
Unless it's the end of December.
It's kind of
It's
mid.
not that bad.
It's December
Not
19th.
there in the
It's
new
3
year.
months.
But we don't have rations enough. Yeah.
We have
You
that-
have
we have
3
that.
weeks of rations.
Yeah, we do.
We have clerics that can make food and water.
And
We
have
can
3
always
weeks of rest.
hunt.
That's true. We could also always hunt.
Sabala's bloodthirsty
And-
out in the wild.
I'm just saying, I have good survival skills.
You like turn into a lion and like hunt down giant.
I
If
could.
She's seen a lion.
Well, there was a reasoning I wanted to try and get something from Gilmore's before
Yeah, no, that's
he
fair.
decided
No,
to
we already
leave
left
or
Whitestone.
whatever happened to him.
We've already left Whitestone at this point.
Walked out of
There's-
Whitestone and stood there, not knowing where to go.
So it'll
No,
take
it's your
nearly a
mom, right.
month. It'll
I-
take nearly a month to get to Iman, or nearly a month to get to sea.
If I had been able to get what I wanted, I would have been able to teleport us to Amon.
I got a feeling it's
Oh,
like
man.
another 2 weeks to get to Amon and back. Probably a little longer.
Someone said DM. Hello?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So, Iman.
Travel montage.
Yes. So
Go
for the so are we going to Amon or Singorn?
I would prefer.
How
if we were able
urgent is Amon?
Sort of urgent.
I mean, we do still need to go there because cultists.
We need to go to Singorn because cultists.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go to every
But
city
the
because
rats are in
cultists.
Singorn,
The what?
are around Singorn. So that means that we will be able to take care of their cultist problem and get a powerful weapon.
Well, okay. The Raps are much farther south. They are down here.
Then Singorn is in the same direction.
Yes. Which is why I suggested we stop there.
Glave's vote is for Singorn because there's more in that direction that we are capable of accomplishing.
And we should be able to hit Amon on the way back.
That.
Okay.
I
that
vote
acceptable?
Singorn.
I also vote Singorn.
What is it you need to do in Amon?
Something I cannot tell you.
I figured that. Would you tell me anyway?
I can't.
Please?
Not even the prettiest.
What? Oh.
It is not a secret to tell.
Oh, I see. I respect that.
That's a very respectable thing to respect.
Mhm.
Respect.
Okay, assholes.
Quit telling other people's secrets, Lana.
I haven't told
Oh.
anyone's secrets recently.
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 Attack on recently. Actually, I wasn't there, but out of character, I'd like to point out that you mentioned we're going after a vestige.
That
To your
wasn't
brother?
a See? Okay. We
Oh,
were
once
not
it's
a
mean-
secret.
something.
We hadn't discussed that it was a secret.
So it has to be labeled distinctly and clearly that it is a secret for you to not talk about it. Common sense plays no part.
I didn't tell him what vestige.
So,
Like,
Headed
that
so
south.
Snuggles107 in the chat. Keep in mind that 24 miles a day means 8 hours of travel, 8 hours of rest, and 8 hours of downtime. It's something
This is true.
that they have realized
Yeah.
and messed up in their own campaign.
We don't need downtime. Well, maybe
All
a little,
right.
but not every day.
So-
We could talk on the horses.
So, with that note from Snuggles, if you would like, you may travel 12 hours, 16 hours, and 8 hours of rest. But that could potentially incur eventually points of exhaustion.
Could we do 8 hours of rest, 12 hours of travel, and the remaining is downtime? If someone would like to math that out.
I think that would pretty much be the same as fast paced.
Oh,
Same
it's
as
like
fast-paced.
step and a half, you know?
All right, for expediency's sake and the sake of brevity, we'll go ahead and just assume that we can actually do 16 hours of travel without exhaustion, and we'll double this speed.
I mean, if you want to do 1.5, we could do like every other day, which kills the exhaustion.
Yeah, we'll do that. So, that'll drop us down. We're gonna make this I'm gonna write down an official number here. This is going to be a 16-day journey.
Okay, I can live with that.
So,
From
Yvonne
there
or
to
Singborn?
Singorn.
Single.
Oh, Singborn. We voted Singborn. Sorry, one moment. We voted Singborn.
Yeah, we'll hit him on the way back.
Frog
And
people.
And if we're super lucky, we'll be able to go a little quicker. It's unlikely, but
Well, I have connections. So
Let me see.
maybe I can get assistance from my grandfather.
Name
Yeah,
drop
quick
incoming.
Not a name drop.
Oh, sorry. Connections incoming.
Relative.
I had just resigned myself to not saying anything. And someone else.
He's a relative. Hope maybe he would be, or maybe my aunt would be willing to assist.
So these are
Frog
like,
people.
these have to be like secondary skills, like not primary class abilities, but secondary abilities.
Yeah, it goes along with
First-
sarcasm.
First being name drop, second being connection.
And then sarcasm.
Whatever.
And then angstiness.
What?
All right.
You all. I'm not
So for the
with
first
you.
day, who is helming the lead for the first 8 hours?
I got it.
Not me.
I'll
Roll.
be,
Well, I have an 18 passive perception, so.
I have a 20.
Oh, well, aren't you fancy?
I have a-
I thought you were scouting
Brag
ahead.
about it.
I am, and I was about to say that too.
I have a +8 survival.
Nice.
I'm going to basically have someone help guide my horse as we're going, so I can peer through Beaks' eyes
I
as he
gotcha.
flies ahead.
All right.
So,
So make your perception check.
I
Beaks
also have a
senses
8 to survival, Caleb.
21.
Not a competition.
21. All right. So as Beak flies high above, you watch as Whitestone gets smaller and smaller in the distance. One thing Beak notices with his heightened vision is what appears to be an army amassing on the edges of Whitestone, heading down toward the same direction you're currently going.
Is it Whitestone Army?
Yeah, no, it's Whitestone, it's Iman and
Oh, thank
Singborn. It's as you relay this information to the rest of the party, Elena. This is Oliver's war party. Is about a day behind you.
He has sent them after us.
Damn it.
I really want that robot.
Beginning to make their way down the path. However,
Because I threatened him.
the way ahead seems mostly clear. However, in the direction of Drina, you do still see that smoke billowing over the horizon, ever present at this point and burning. And that smoke extends all the way across the dividing plains. You just see this wall of black smoke across the entire south eastern direction of the sky. But your first day is mostly uneventful for the first 8 hours. And as you left around noon, that brings us toward the evening time around here. Do you set up camp in the woods and or try to find a place to sleep, or what are we doing?
I do have my bubble.
Right, nothing can pass into that bubble, right?
Except
You have a bubble.
except creatures I deem worthy.
Can you
All
fit
right.
the horses?
Or I can
So-
fit.
I do feed the horses.
I'm
Let me
worried
see.
more worried about the horses than us.
9 creatures of medium size or small
No.
I can fit inside the dome. So I could get all but
A
2
horse and a half.
horses.
Okay. So 2 horses left out in the cold.
Those little ones we got in Drina.
The ones that you got in Drina. They're dead by morning.
They're used to this.
Is anyone staying up for the night, or do you feel safe in your bubble and everyone gets a full
I'm
rest?
staying up. Well, I mean, assuming we're doing shifts, I'm not
Watch.
staying up. the entire time.
Elena wants to ask what trouble you got into.
I'll tell you all about it.
Immediately is falling asleep.
You locked yourself in a bubble with her.
I can dispel this. I can
Here,
create a
come
separate
on,
bubble.
we'll,
I can
we'll,
go
we'll
into.
take watch. I'll tell you about it.
All right. So everyone else goes to bed. Elena and Vale, you're up in the night, keeping an eye as the sound you hear in the distance what sounds like wolves prowling the Parchwood timberlands.
By the way, I make it to where people. It's hard for people to see in, but we can see out perfectly fine.
It is
Okay.
opaque.
All right. So it's a big bubblegum bubble in the middle of the woods.
Bright pink.
Well, I was
Alright.
talking like a dark smoky look, but yeah, sure, let's go with that.
All right.
I have my pink bubble.
All right. You guys do your role playing there.
So,
Oh, right.
trouble?
Not really. Trouble?
Not really.
No. We were asked some questions by the guard about our evening before because we went to go see Gilmore.
Why were you
And
asked questions about?
Because I slipped on ice. It was embarrassing, and apparently they saw that as some sort of criminal activity.
Can I insight check her?
You sure may.
What do I
And I think we both know what you roll.
Can I spend a key point for advantage?
No, you cannot.
Anytime is the time. Actually, I'm gonna go with Xavier. Xavier's dad, because
Ooh.
maybe I'll get a natural 20. Was that a head shake of disgust with your die?
No. It's a head shake of enjoyment. I'm trying to count the numbers.
Oh, yeah, it's too high to count. Ooh, that's not bad.
Ooh.
25.
25.
Um,
Damn.
I think that means she passes.
Yeah, she succeeds.
So Vale, you're lying, right?
It is all true, except it was it's mostly true. It's just leaving out lots.
What happened today, Vale?
They questioned us. The guards questioned us.
And yet I don't believe you.
That's not my problem.
I want the full story, Vale. I don't want half stories or half truths.
But damn, I do so good with both of them.
What is wrong with Gilmore?
I don't remember saying anything was wrong with Gilmore.
Well, it is involving Gilmore and he is missing. He hasn't been in his shop for the last few days.
Gilmore's in Marquette.
Okay. Why were you questioned by the guards if he's in Marquette? How do you know that
No
he's
one
in
told me.
Marquette?
I scryed on him.
Why did you feel it necessary to scry
Okay, if
on
you
him?
stop interrupting for 1 second, I will finish my story.
All right, finish your story.
Is that nosy thing? Where was I?
Gilmore and Marquette.
Marquette. Guy rolls over.
We went to stop by Gilmore's to see if he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Or, no, wait, that's not right. There was an alarm. Eldoris
say,
heard Glaive's voice in his
Cassie?
head. Huh?
What'd you say?
Oh.
Sorry.
Did you hear that? We're not alone.
Wait, Yildiris heard Glaive's voice in
Heard
it.
Glaive's voice saying, "Come here quickly." We heard an alarm or a loud noise, and guards were investigating Gilmore's shop.
Did Glaive
They
bash
said it looked like a break-in.
the-
Hold on. They said it looked like a break-in. And they asked us about it because we knew Gilmore.
And you didn't think to bring me into it, considering I've known Gilmore my entire
I
life.
scryed on
He's
him.
like an uncle.
Seemed fine.
Did I lose sound again?
And you decided to wait to tell me after we left Whitestone.
There's no problem. He's not currently in Whitestone.
Do you know why he's in Marquette? Why he left?
Did Eldoris say that he cleaned out his shop?
Eldoris?
Boris simply said that he was in Marquette.
Okay.
Or
Anchorage.
on Corral.
He left a
Do
note.
we
saying
know
he was in
why
Anchorage.
he's in?
Or,
Do we know why he's in Ankara?
I don't know about the note. Never mind. Never mind. Nix that
Do
last
we
bit.
know? Okay. Do we know why he's in Marquette? Do we know why his shop was broken into, or why any of this is going on? Has anybody contacted Gilmore?
Glaive sent him a sending message. A message via sending. And he responded saying it was a bad time.
And nobody has contacted him since to see if it's a better time.
Hey, I could scry once per day. I'm not sure what you want from me. But
I
I am not
don't
I am
want
not
to
a
be
carrier
left
pigeon.
out of things, especially things that are concerning about my family.
Fine, he's safe.
How do we know that he is safe?
He's from
Sure,
Marquette.
yes, but
Would any of
he's
us wake
still
up?
family, and I still worry.
Keep it down. You're gonna wake the others.
Never fell asleep.
Nerd.
I've been trying very hard to.
You are very loud.
It's funny.
Here, this is
I,
my.
I assume we walked a small distance away. Like we're not right
We're
outside.
in the bubble. We're in
You're
the
in the
bubble.
Oh, no, hell no. I was
You
gonna
won't
do
be able to get back
I
in.
assumed, yeah, I
Yeah,
assumed
we
we
can.
were in
Yeah,
the
you can
bubble.
get back in.
No, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you could get back in the bubble.
This was not happening in the bubble.
The people I designate can leave and enter the bubble. At
Wait,
will.
but they can hear the stuff outside of the bubble, so they can still hear us.
Right, but you're missing
Here,
the point.
Here. Boom. No sound passes through.
But he's still my family, Vale, and I still worry about him.
I'm not
Just
saying.
as I worry about
Yeah.
my brothers,
Did you?
and y'all decided without me to leave me out.
No,
to
that was
not
my decision.
inform me that what was going on until after we left Whitestone.
Okay, we're a day away from it. I mean,
Yeah, but you could have told me while we were still in Whitestone when I asked you the first time,
we need to
and you
leave.
waited. I
We have to deal with
understand
the
that, Vale. I understand that.
I'm sorry the plot took us 24 hours into the future, okay?
I understand that we need to leave Vale, but you could have told me the truth sooner.
Would have told you like an hour out of Stone, but whatever. We won't get into that.
I get left out of things. Because y'all deem that I
You go
don't
off
need
on your
to know.
You go off alone a lot.
I've been alone a lot most of my life.
Why do you think the buddy system was initiated? You disappeared several times in Whitestone.
Whitestone is my home and I can protect myself there.
Ooh.
Just saying, if you don't want to be left out, maybe don't leave.
Maybe you should inform me of when things are happening. That's why we have the earrings, is it not?
The earrings have a very poor range.
Well, you bought them.
Yeah, I should see about getting a refund or a enhancement on it later.
Just adds another pearl.
Yeah, right. The idea was to communicate with each other. I don't think
Well, you're
any of us has been
not communicating with.
Hey, don't interrupt. I don't think any of us has done a very good job of that lately. Myself included.
I've communicated fairly well.
Have you though?
Just because you'll ignore what I say doesn't mean that I haven't been communicating.
I'm not talking about to us. I'm talking about to others.
Who else do I need to communicate to?
No, not communicate to. Communicate better. You tell people things they shouldn't know. Yes, I'm still upset about that.
I am sorry that the entirety of Whitestone was in danger because of it.
Okay, no, I'm not getting into that again. Nothing would have changed.
But I haven't told anyone else besides my aunt. I didn't tell my brothers. I haven't told a single soul besides my aunt. She's the only person I told, Vale. That was that
Are
Glaive?
you okay?
Glaive?
You can't hear outside the bubble.
Oh. Well,
I
what
mean-
noise was that? She's the only person I told.
Glaive, jeez.
But she needed to know in case cultists came.
They
And
did.
they did come.
And we were
And they were
so
in
well
my
prepared
castle.
for it.
Well, because she didn't even believe me to begin with, Vale. They view me as a child. So, it didn't matter if I told her anyways, because she didn't believe me.
It mattered
And I
to me.
haven't told anyone else.
Ramifications or not, it mattered to me.
And I apologize for that. But I feared for the safety of my citizens of Whitestone and my family. Rightfully so, because they came and they did kidnap somebody from my city who was under the protection of my city, Vale. And they could have done a lot more damage. They could have done what the Myriad had done. They could have done more damage. And I thought my aunt would be more prepared and more willing to protect the city from them. But she didn't even believe me to begin with. So she wasn't prepared for them.
No one was.
Just like they want for the Myriad attack. Because they don't believe me. Because they view me as Elena the child. They view me as the protected daughter who's living in the castle, the naive one.
No comment. Shit, I lost what I was gonna say. That was funny. Apart from family and your home, why bother sticking up for them so much? Just curiosity, not accusatory.
Because they made me. Yes, they may have protected me too much and they may have sheltered me too much, but I love them and they did it out of love. I understand now why they did it. Yes, my brother is a complete asshole.
That's generous to assholes.
But I know
Go on.
But I know that there is good in him. Because I watched him grow up. And I hope for the best from him. Just as I hope for the best for our party.
Well, I'm glad you can see something in him. I hope you're right about it.
Glaive, not Glaive, Grail, my family has battled... I don't know, names. Grail, my family has battled darkness time after time. And there's always hope. And you can never give that up. It's one thing that my father taught me. One thing that my mother taught me. That you can't give up hope in the darkness. You can't let that darkness overtake you. Otherwise, you lose who you are. And I can't lose hope that my brother is not who he used to be. That there isn't that goodness inside of him. Not all of my siblings are like him. Julius obviously is not like him. The twins are not like him. They each have their own faults. He is just going through some things right now that are blinding him from what he could be. And I want to be there to remind him of the person he can be and should be. And not this arrogant prick that he is.
Well said.
Thank you.
Is there anything
That's
else you want to get off your chest?
I mean, not particularly at the moment. I mean, I don't know how to process the other things that are currently going on in my life.
No one does.
I don't know how to process what I got myself into.
Yeah, I don't want to pick nits, but I mean, the claiming you're not the naive child your family says you are, and then immediately going and making a deal with God.
I did not say that I am not naive, Glaive, or Vale. Sorry, dang it!
Should I just come be a part of the conversation with that help?
What the heck?
Tag out.
They come out of the bubble to take a peek. Woods.
I did not say that I was not naive in certain things of the world. Yes, I made that decision rashly, but it wasn't out of being naive. I did it to...
I'm not faulting you on it. Don't get me wrong.
I did it to help the party. and to protect the party and to protect my family. Because y'all unfortunately have become like family.
That is unfortunate.
So,
Again, don't get me wrong. I'm not faulty. You did what you thought was right.
at least my god is not Tiamat.
That was a low blow.
Neither is
Oh.
mine.
Now,
Say
I rolled
something
20
nice, get
crash,
stabbed
I'm
back.
You have a pretty
but
face. Thanks.
I did it to help us.
That's what I was freaking implying, and you just gonna say it.
I'm not planning on telling my family yet.
Really?
They would not be very excited about it, to say the least. So,
Tempted to use sending to just wake up
Don't do
and
it.
cast with
Don't
the
do it.
most.
Don't do it. It's a
I
trap.
won't.
You can't hear it.
Excuse me.
yeah. So, don't plan on telling them. Doesn't mean that they won't find out. But
Is there a sending reply that is the number you've attempted to dial is disconnected or no longer in service?
There is if you say it.
But yeah, so wasn't a decision made out of nativity.
I know. I said that. I said you're doing what you thought was right.
Yeah.
And then you jabbed at my past. It's cool.
Like, you didn't jab at my past.
I jabbed at the recent past.
Still a jab at the past.
That's true. I do
Past
most
is
damage.
past. Yeah.
We good?
I guess you're
Alright.
good.
The two of you finish your watch quietly sitting by the... I don't know, do you have a fire inside this thing, or is that like
The temperature is warm.
All right.
Control
Sitting
temperature.
on the outside, you listen as you hear what sounds like the call of the wild outside in the Parchwood Timberlands. It is alive with animal sounds and large shifting objects in the trees that you hear. Sounds like a tree falls at one point in the night, and large boughs of the trees begin to lose their snow and fall to the ground. As your shift draws to a close and the next shift takes over, who's taking the second shift?
Xavier.
Xavier, anyone else?
Body system.
Well, you guys are right here. I'm not leaving the bubble. I can't.
Yeah, but we are unconscious.
You'll just stay unconscious. You're fine. Nothing
No.
can get in. You guys are
That's
right
great.
here.
Dispel magic exists, and so does the silence spell, right?
No magic can pierce this bubble. Yes, dispel magic can. Just stay asleep. Jesus.
No.
Buddy system.
Buddy system.
Buddy system.
All right. Glaive and a begrudging Xavier now spend the rest of the night up together in an
Can I
awkward
attempt
silence.
to cast sleep on it? I'm just kidding.
You do it to me, I'm gonna do it to you.
I can't roll enough hit points.
At one point late in the night, you hear very close, a loud, "Arr!" Make a perception check.
Yes, master.
Shit,
What was the name of the companion of the first Raven Queen's champion?
Pervon.
Pervon? Wait, oh, the companion.
Companion. The companion. The wolf.
Oh, Goldrick.
Yeah. Maybe it's Goldrick.
Maybe not.
16.
Maybe not.
16?
I have rolled a 17 on roll 20.
Where is that?
Both of you, actually, as you are sitting, you look up on a ridge and just briefly you see what looks to be an enormous wolf watching you. And as your eyes fall upon it, it slowly patters away into the woods.
Definitely Goldrick.
I could have made a wolf friend.
Good call.
As
That's
the rest of the night goes by peacefully, the early morning comes and everyone awakens. You get set and ready to go. Who would like to lead the party on the second leg of the journey?
We're gonna keep doing this day by day.
Day by day.
Okay.
I got events. I got stuff planned.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
I guess I can.
Who's leading today?
is this the normal pace day?
We're just not going to worry about it. Who's going? Who's in the
I got it. Okay, Elena.
Glade, you haven't done a lot of role playing stuff for you. I'd like you to roll a d6.
Roll initiative.
Okay.
Oh,
Roll a d6.
is it safe to assume that Paula is riding with Glaive?
Sure, let's assume that.
Okay.
Well,
Even more weight on poor Hoist.
5 on that 6.
A 6?
5.
5?
5 on that d6.
Okay. As you begin this leg of your journey, about 2 hours into the ride, Glaive and Sapala, your horse suddenly whinnies loudly and rears in place. I need both of you to make dexterity saving throws.
Can it make a handle?
This is as it's rearing back, and you're just trying to keep your balance.
I got a 14.
14?
I got a 10.
10. As the horse rears back, Sapala, you just managed to grab onto Glaive, trying to steady yourself, when Glaive falls completely backwards off the back of the horse, and you both land falling down in the mud. It's... sure, why not? No. It's insufficient damage to really matter at this point, but as you fall on the ground, you notice that your horse has a broken horseshoe as you were traveling, and it's going to take some time to repair.
That is an impressive break.
Very much so.
I've got mending.
Okay. You're going to use your mending spell for it?
Mend that.
Yeah, it's a cantrip.
Yeah.
I'd like you to make a animal handling.
Yes, sir. 26.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
The horse, which was a little in pain and frantic after having snapped its horseshoe, you managed to calm it, putting your hands up and, whoa there, girl.
Easy.
Have you named it Sapala?
You take it by its back hoof and use your mending cantrip to fuse the iron back together, and it is sufficient. And using the magic does not slow down your journey.
Hey.
Her name is Gertrude.
Gertrude?
Gertrude.
Okay.
I was going to name her Butterbuns.
And this day goes pretty well. Everyone remember to mark off 2 days rations.
Oh, shit.
Just in case.
Yeah, I should do that.
Rations.
Um,
You should have plenty of rations for a 16-day journey.
I'm using my own, so don't worry about it.
3 weeks is what 3 weeks each is what Vale grabbed.
I didn't mark.
Hmm?
I marked down days, so I'm just gonna mark it off of that. I assume everyone's eating.
Okay.
Yeah, Eldorus is tapping into his pocketed bacon and pastries and what.
which at this point are very stale.
He does not care.
All right. Night
So-
comes.
So we did 2 days, right?
Yes, 2 days. So
Okay.
I'm marking off the journey on the map.
Okay. 19
Um,
days rations left.
Nothing happens the next evening. You all spend it in the bubble. Whoever does their watch does. Are there any conversations that need to be had? Yes.
I would say during the second day at some point, Uldoris rides up next to Elena, and he takes, attempting to be out of sight of everybody else, inconspicuous.
Mhm.
He takes a package out from under his cloak. It's very small. Looks like a folded up piece of parchment, and maybe with something in it, and hands it over to Elena.
All right. Make a sleight of hand check.
Both of us are just.
Just Eldora's.
I mean, he's not trying to be inconspicuous to her.
No,
Just
no, no.
everybody-
I know. This is just so that everyone else to see if everyone
Make
else
a
sees it.
sleight of hand check.
And
to
I know
refuse.
what the highest passive perception is, which is 19. So
Yeah, I'm not going to get
Yeah, 20.
that. Sleight of hand. Yeah.
what do you got?
But
16?
Mm.
10.
10? Oh, so everyone kind of notices you hand over this package. Elena, it is now in your notes what says note to Elena.
Elena, please do not be upset.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure his store was not broken into. I think he was in a hurry and just made a mess on his way out.
Thank you for telling me, Yogoris. Really didn't.
As
Wow.
sorry, are people talking, or did I
think
lose
she's-
signal again?
She's reading.
She's reading.
Okay.
You were saying as?
Oh, you were saying the conversations that need to happen that
Yeah.
night at rest.
Sure.
I'd like to begin teaching Sapala Giant.
Yes.
All right. So you pull out the book that she purchased.
How to speak that.
I have it in my notes.
Okay, let's.
Giant
As-
of the Lost Ones.
Giant of the Lost Ones. Yes, that was the book. I have a little.
Jesus dancing.
What this is, as you begin to read it, it's a legend. It's a giant or half giant legend. Story of Karth, who was a hero among men, and led many adventures. Very Herculean tale. Several different myths of this half man, half giant character who was a giant among men and a dwarf among giants, and would go out and rescue people and slay great monsters, and that's generally the book. It's kind of a kid's book among giant kind, but a perfect book for learning how to speak giant. So that is what you begin with Sapala this evening. Anyone else? No? Okay. So the night goes by well.
I read.
Rest, you read, rest is had, and you wake the following morning. The next day, the temperature begins to increase as you make your way further southward, as you exit the Parchwood Timberlands and make your way on the second day closer toward the equator. Not quite
Can
there
I
yet,
ask?
but yes.
Would I know around what temperature it would be?
Make a nature check.
Sure.
He says with a quivering voice.
22.
It's 47 degrees outside.
All right. That's all I need to know.
Not quite freezing, but not quite to the point where you're warm. What little snow is around, it's not thick anymore, and a lot of the trees have lost their the snow that was on them. It's all fallen to the ground. Bits of it are melting here and there. It's still winter, but as you get further south, the snow gets less fluffy.
C. Paul is just anticipating vegetation.
As the morning comes and breakfast is had and your rations are taken for the day, you begin to make your way along the road. About 5 hours into the journey, it's relatively quiet. You don't see any travelers heading toward or from Whitestone as you're making your way down. After about 6 hours, who's leading?
Glaive and
I
Sabala.
can. Or
Glaive and
Oh,
Sabala.
sorry.
You notice, looking ahead of you, you see a large barricade in the center of the road. Well-constructed wooden barricade, and atop it you see 7 or 8 figures in what looks to be full plate armor, except for their heads are covered in these black hoods, and they're wearing black tabards down the front. And in front of the barricade, there's a door that's open, and a man standing in front of it, wearing the same set of armor, but the hood is pulled back, and you just see a late 20s aged man just kind of standing there, hand on crossbow.
Could I have Beak, who's been flying around us?
Mm-hmm.
Could I have him fly behind the barricade, like a good ways up, and can I peer through his senses to see behind it?
Okay, make a perception check.
I'll steady
do I recognize this armor or any of their sigils?
Make a history check.
Modded 20.
I do that.
Modded 20. All right, so what you see through Beak, you're looking further down the road behind them, or like at the barricade
Sorry,
from
18.
behind?
I'm
You're looking further down the road behind them, or at the barricade?
around the barricade mainly.
Around the barricade, on the other side, you do see another number of these knight figures, probably another 6 or 7, and they are mostly sharpening weapons, eating breakfast, or not lunch at this point. A couple of them are fletching arrows, and a number of them are actually kneeling on the ground and appear to be doing some form of prayer ritual.
Do I get?
I got a 23.
Can I make out
23.
any detail about the armor?
About what?
About the armor.
With a 21, you said?
No, it was 18.
18? You do not recognize this. Elena, however, only because of your family's connection with the mom are you slightly familiar with this. The stark silver armor with a black tabard, they have no symbol on them, just the armor and the tabard gives away who they are. You don't remember the name, but you know there's a college in Amman, a bardic college that trains knights for something, but you're not quite sure what. Are you all still approaching this barricade?
Yeah. Can I like go up next to Glaive and see Paula so that we're like kind of all manning the helm?
All right.
I'm not going to stop.
So three in the front, 3 in the back on 2 different horses in the front. However, what did you do with the spare horse, by the way?
Oh, we don't have a spare horse.
We have 5 horses.
Oh, I thought there were 6. Okay.
No, we have a scarcity.
All right. As you approach the gate,
Because Sapala is short.
the figure at the front steps forward. He raises a hand, just kind of not menacingly, just kind of signaling for you to slow up as you approach.
I
We
slow
do.
my horse down.
Hail, friends!
Hail.
Hello.
What brings you this way?
We're headed to
Travel?
Steamcorn.
Singmon. That's quite a journey.
Yes, it is.
Are you a nice person?
Yes, I'd like to think so. Anyway, unfortunately, there is a quarantine in this area.
Quarantine of what?
The Turst Fields. There's been an outbreak of a rather poor disease of some kind, and we are attempting to quell its outreach on the rest of the cities, or on the rest of Taldore. So, if you don't mind, and with your permission, explicitly, we'd like to do a brief health check on the rest of you, and we'll escort you around the edge of the village on your way to Singon.
What
Is that all right?
disease has broken out?
There isn't a name for it. It appears to be new.
Communism.
Symptoms include loss of, loss of flesh, insatiable hunger, and loss of intellect.
Can I make an Arcana check?
Sure.
Can I make an
Can I make
insight
a
check?
movie buff check?
And what organization are you?
Forgive me. I am Tywin of the Stalwart Watch.
And I'm Lady Elena of Whitestone.
A pleasure.
30.
30. Arcana. Ringing a bell, there's not too many curses or anything magical that causes those symptoms that you are aware. With a 30, that's freaking high. Those
But it's
those
Arcana.
symptoms sound to you like necromancy. It sounds like something undead or anything along those lines, but you're not sure what would cause that to happen to a living person.
Delicious.
May I ask you a question, sir?
Can I
Of course.
make an insight check?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and roll your insight check.
Okay.
Do you know of Cassandra DeRollo?
I'm
And
afraid
if
I do not.
Is there someone in charge that I could speak with? My aunt passed through here
They teleported.
about a week ago. Did she teleport? I thought
No, she did. No, she did not.
Oh, I thought Gilmore
Yeah.
teleported then.
Mm.
Oh, never mind.
And I just want to know if they are here quarantined or if they made it through.
Absolutely. But if you don't mind, have you interact with more of our men. Would you mind us doing the health check?
I don't mind. I don't know about my companion.
Are there any objections?
I get off my horse.
All right. He spends a few minutes. He takes all of you. He grabs you by the wrist and checks your pulse. Pulls back your eyelids and begins like looking into your irises very closely on each and every one of you. Studies your skin. Kind of pulls up your shirt sleeve a little bit. Vale, he just kind of looks at you. Doesn't even touch your sleeves. A few minutes passes. He seems to be okay with what he sees and doesn't have any problem. Once he's done with everyone, he takes a step back. Lord Master Beskar! Lord Master! And around the corner, a figure comes stepping around wearing the same silver armor with black tabard going up into a black hood. However, instead of a open face under the hood, you just see this helmet underneath the hood as well. About 5'6" tall, easily recognizable by her gait. She walks with a dexterity in this armor that you're not used to seeing someone in this thick of armor move with. As opposed to the sword and crossbow that everyone else is wielding, she has 2 daggers attached at her hip, and she comes walking forward. Yeah, this woman here had a question for you. Oh, right. What was up? What's your question?
I'm Lady Lena DeRollo Whitestone, and I was wondering if Lady Cassandra DeRollo passed through here. If she was
Yes,
detained or not.
she was not detained. She and two others,
My
two younger
brothers.
boys. Okay, yes. They were here just a little while ago. They passed inspection, and we escorted them to the other side of the test fields.
Thank you.
Is there anything else?
What about the fourth
Are
one?
you a nice person?
Oh, Tyra. There was another with them, Tyra. She was a young lady, a young woman. Did she get detained, or was she with them?
She was briefly detained. However, she did not have any of the other symptoms, so we ended up allowing her on.
Why
She's
was
heavily-
brief-
She was heavily scarred, which gave us pause for concern, as loss of flesh is one of the symptoms of this new plague.
She had
but-
a hard life, yes.
It's
Mm,
not plague related.
Yes, we gathered after we realized how healed they were. And to answer your question, milady, I suppose that depends. Are you a nice person?
I guess that would depend.
I guess that's true. Who are you not nice to? I suppose should be the real question you ask. It really matters
All
who
of
you
the
choose not
river.
to be nice to. I'm sorry?
Nothing. An inside joke between the parties. Sorry.
See, if you're nice to a nice person, does that make you a nice person? No. If you're nice to a rude person, it means you get walked all over. But if you're rude to a rude person, you never know. So, who are you rude to?
I feel like I've heard this before.
People who blatantly do wrong.
Ah. Well, I'm similar. I'm rude to evil things. Undead, vampires, werewolves, demons of the deep. I'm certainly not nice to them. That's what we do
Well-
at the Stalwart Watch.
I would have to disagree with you on one thing, though.
Hmm.
I think there is good in even and bad.
I would disagree, but that is your opinion and is yours to have. Anyway,
I like her.
anyway,
We'll-
we
we'll,
have.
Carry on. Sorry to disturb your day.
Well, as it were, you passed your inspection according to Tywin here, and you are in need of an escort, and it would be my pleasure to escort you around the village myself, if you don't mind.
I do not mind, but it is not necessary if you have other things to do.
No, I
You must be
do
very
apologize.
important.
The escort is mandatory, as we do not want
Oh,
contact with anyone from the village.
How out of the
I
way is
understand
this?
that it's mandatory. I meant that you must be very busy because of your position, not that it is not
No,
a
no,
mandatory
no.
escort.
I am lawmaster merely by my family station. If they had their way, I would not have my rank. I did not go to the stupid little college.
I understand not doing what your family wants you to do.
Well, they always want books and learning, and I just wanted to go out and stab things. So I did
wanted
that.
to hunt, so
there
I
you go.
understand.
Well, I did that instead. And I maintained my position merely because of my family, and
Yeah.
they would fire me if they could. But listen, I'm more than happy to get away from these pompous assholes. And Tywin
Very
goes like,
well.
I'm standing right here. Yeah, you're an asshole. Anyway, so she gets on a horse and begins going, leading the rest of you. As you approach the edge of their encampment, you see down another half a day's journey away as you come to the other side of the trees. you see the terst fields in front of you. This vast expanse of farming houses in front of you, and a small town in the middle, much smaller than even Whitestone, that you gather to be the center of the terst field proper. Around it, you see it crawling with guards on every street, all bearing the silver armor with the black tabard. And there are citizens out and about on the street, going back and forth, each one walking with a guard keeping pace behind them, just a few feet behind.
Sorry.
Yes.
No, I thought you were done. Sorry. Continue.
Oh, yeah. You can ask a question if you did.
Oh no, I was gonna ask the commander.
That's why I answered in character. Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was confused.
Oh, yes.
So, explain to me this disease that you found.
A couple of weeks ago, there was an attack in this village. Do you know much about the terst fields?
How much do I know about the terst fields, DM?
For you, roll an intelligence check because it's really close to White's.
I gotta pull up my sheet again.
How smart is Elaine?
Find out next time.
Next time on Alignmentship.
You said intelligence?
Yeah, to see what you remember.
We mean history? There's an intelligence save. Insight, investigation.
Just add your
I don't
intelligence.
see any insight.
You just no,
Right?
no,
Oh,
that's not a
straight
thing. It's, yeah.
intelligence. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. 14.
14. Okay. Terst Fields is interesting in the land of Taldore. They're in the middle of the dividing plains, which has long been plagued by the orcish hordes known as the Ravagers, that you know very well as just on the southern tip of the Parchwood Timberland, which is a very dangerous area. But this is one of the most fertile areas in all of Taldore and is responsible for a lot of the crop manufacturing. And that's about it. Everything else is imported to this small town. One thing that sets it apart is their relationship with the gnolls. The Terst Fields is made up of about 15% gnoll population. When the city was founded, they made an alliance with the gnolls and incorporated them in society, and they helped protect the village. And most of the villagers here speak gnoll, as well as engage in animalistic spirituality, for lack of a better term. It's different here. They've made an alliance with these beasts.
Okay. I know a bit about the Terst Field.
Well, a few weeks back, a group of the savage population in this village, along with some of the regular citizens, went rabid, for lack of a better term.
The gnolls and the
And some regular
non-gnoll population?
I believe two of them were human, and a halfling, if I'm not mistaken. They went rabid, for lack of a better term. They assaulted a woman in an alley to eat her flesh.
Oh, interesting.
And she did not survive. They were quarantined in a barn, and she points out, you see a large barn in one of the fields that has a very large number of guards around it. And that's when we started to discover others in the village. And now at this point, there is about 15 beings that have been placed in this barn. And we've been keeping an eye on them for several weeks. They show no sign of ebbing symptoms. Attempts at casting arcane rituals and spells such as cure wounds and remove curse have been ineffective, and we are not sure how it began. But don't you worry about that. We are working on it.
I'm interested in what is Go
That's
ahead,
all right.
considering this is so close to home. So
Don't worry, we shall ensure that Whitestone is not affected by it. We have our quarantine set up on the entire perimeter of the city and are maintaining its level of integrity.
it's just a very curious disease or curse, whatever it may be.
Yes.
Almost as if are they just mindless in a way?
One of our physicians has equated them to the undead.
Interesting.
Though they had been fine prior.
So it just happened overnight.
It would seem.
What a curious little thing it is.
Quite. Either way, we shall continue past. I do apologize.
When
Yes?
was this? When was it?
Several weeks ago, probably
okay.
about 2 weeks, this all began.
Okay.
Either way, we'll continue around the city, and she gives a wide berth to the entire city on horseback. As you pass by the barn, you hear a low rumble from the inside, the sound of several voices on the inside making this horrible...
It is not a pleasant. Do they always sound like that?
No, actually. When we bring things to feed them, they shriek horribly.
They shriek. So this is a new noise.
Yes, no. They're just milling about in there right now,
Oh, okay.
mindlessly shambling. But if we throw in a dead pig, they sack it like a herd of wild wolves, and they let out this horrible sound.
Interesting.
Yes. Well, either way, it takes about an hour to go around the entire outskirts of the town. She leads you to the other side, where
We
you
have zombies.
she leads you to that side where once you get to the main road on that end, there's another barricade a little bit further down, and this is where I'll leave. So it was a pleasure. Good luck on your journey to Singong, and it was good to meet you.
Yes. Luck on discovering whatever disease this is.
Yes. We shall do our best. The Stalwart Watch is on it. And make a history check now that you have heard now that you've heard the name, and with your history check before you couldn't remember. The Stalwart Watch is a group of knights that hunt darkness that lies in the world. The Bardic College of Lore in Amman actually runs this order. All the knights are paladins or clerics of some kind, but also went through a Bardic college, which is led by one Lady Erin Beskar.
Okay. All right.
And so you make your way.
We have zombies, guys.
What was that?
We have zombies.
They have zombies.
What? They have zombies. Well, Taldore in general has zombies.
Yeah.
It's also got vampires.
Yeah, it's something we're gonna have to eventually deal with. I'm just saying. Okay? Oh.
Yeah, I'm hoping that resolves itself still.
Does anybody remember what the name of the demon god of the Knolls is named?
The Ravager?
Nope.
No.
I know.
Yamagu.
Oh, that one. I knew it. I just had it wrong.
You know, that thing that we're trying to
Naga?
stop.
Yeah.
He's one of the demon princes in league with Tiamat.
And how long ago was the earthquake in Whitestone?
3 days.
2 weeks ago.
3 days.
Yes.
All right.
Well, that's not when it started. They started a couple weeks ago, but it came to fruition 3 days ago.
That's
Well, no,
true.
actually, at this point, 5 days ago.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I'm gonna have to do my math on that later. I forgot, like 2 days,
Math
3
are
days have
hard.
gone by. But math are hard. 6
Math
days
is
ago,
hard.
considering the travel.
All right, so we don't know when they got the artifact on Whitestone.
I mean, 6 days ago is when they got it.
Do we know that?
Fairly certain.
They could have gotten it a while ago, but
True.
it's unlikely. But we don't know the exact time.
I will point
Spoilers.
out. I will point out something you already have in possession.
What's that?
What's the
Hold on. Where'd it go?
Oh yeah, who didn't have a water skin? Because I grabbed one.
Bear Trail. Ah, there it is. Didn't someone have research notes for Whitestone?
I did.
Yeah, it's in your player journal.
Yeah. Sorry,
So that's
I'm trying to-
that's the dated document that references the sealed artifact on the 10th of Duskar.
It's today.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 24th of Duskar.
So it's 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good. Man.
Anyway, so you make your way past the second barricade. They give you a second medical check as you go by. A night there passes you along. At this point, it's gotten dark, and you make camp for the evening. And I think that's where we'll end for tonight. And we will continue traveling next week.
I could do more.
I'm exhausted.
No, it's totally understandable.
It is disadvantage. It's really not fun.
I'm so tired. It was New Year's, and I worked on New Year's Eve day.
Also, no, they did not open the artifact on the 10th of Duskar.
I know.
No, yeah, it was not opened, but they were in the air.
Okay.
Yeah.